All right, welcome back to Last Second Sports, where we are giving you our take down to the last second. And tonight, we are bringing back the open mic portion of the show. But first, you're going to have to give me about 10 to 15 minutes to go off on the Arizona Cardinals game and talk about my takeaways from that. A lot of people are talking about how Trey Lance looked like a rookie, how he struggled, and I have a completely different perspective when I look at that game, and I want to break it down for you. So we all know that the way the game started is Trey Lance, they went empty set shotgun. Okay. So for a kid that isn't necessarily quite ready to take over the reins, according to this team, according to Shanahan, according to a lot of fans, to go empty set shotgun to start a game is a little bit peculiar. And in fact, I believe they opened up with 4 straight plays that were all on Trey Lance, whether it was passing or running. Let me give you something else to chew on here. 79% of those plays in that game relied on Trey Lance. To compare and contrast, when Jimmy and played the Green Bay Packers, only 67% of those plays relied on Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay, so 79% of the plays for Trey Lance. There was even a stretch where they ended the second half on the final couple drives and started the third quarter. 24 of 27 plays relied on Trey Lance, all of it. So to have a stretch like that where you end a half and start a half and 24 of the 27 plays that you run are all on Trey Lance, that's insane to me. Absolutely insane to me. They ran 2 bootlegs / rollouts the whole game. So the way that I think that you can make Trey Lance successful is give him easier reads, give him high-low reads, right? And allow him to just be mobile, move the pocket for him. Twice is all they did all game. Twice they ran play action under center. This is something that he was supposedly drafted for. Trey Lance, out of all of the other quarterbacks, when it came to the draft, played the most under center, ran play action, was in a pro-style offense, yet you only ran play action twice from under center. It's a little bit mind-boggling, right? And here's the other thing to pay attention to. Everybody wants to talk about his completion percentage, which I believe was around 52%. If you look at Trey Lance in this game, 10 yards and under, so that Jimmy Garoppolo game plan, 10 of 14 passing with 2 drops. 10 of 14 passing with 2 drops. You give him those other 2, he was 12 of 14 passing in short yardage, under 10 yards. He absolutely can run a game plan that you want to run, Kyle. It's really strange to me that you're running this game plan, this completely different game plan from what you've always ran. And anybody who plays Madden, they'll tell you, you either know how to play with a scrambling quarterback or you don't. I'm one of those guys that has always played with pocket passers. You give me a scrambling quarterback, and I do exactly what Kyle Shanahan just did in that game. I overrun them because it's this new style of play that I'm not used to, and I completely abandon the pass game, and I want to throw the ball all over the freaking yard. Run the ball all over the yard. So it was interesting for me to see, and I have to show you guys this breakdown of what it is that I'm talking about, because the way that I saw it, especially this second half here, is, and I want to show this to you. So let me add it to the stream. Hold, please. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going to blow it up for you guys. Okay, I'm going to show you this opening sequence to the second half, okay? And the reason I'm going to show this to you is because, believe it or not, this drive, they start the second half. This is their first drive, okay? It goes just over 7 minutes, I believe, right? And they move the ball 18 yards. It's a 12 play over a 7-minute drive. They get a total of 18 yards. What happens on this drive is absolutely comical. You look at the undisciplined play from the San Francisco 49ers. It all has to fall on Shanahan. And people probably didn't realize this. I didn't realize it till I watched the game 3 times and had to go back and see this. This drive is like the epitome of horrible football, horrible discipline. It is the worst drive I've probably ever seen. It's incredible. And the way that Trey Lance was able to continue to move the ball despite being behind the 8 ball, it shows how good this kid eventually is going to be. I want to say this. I've got a couple people waiting to call in. We're going to do the call-ins as soon as I go over this drive and just show this to you guys. I think it's extremely important that you guys see it so that you can put it into context exactly what happened throughout this game. And just remember exactly how the game played out and maybe why they didn't put up as many points as what you would expect. And a lot of people are against Trey Lance and saying that they should have scored more. They held Arizona to 17. There's no way you shouldn't win this game. A lot of people even said Jimmy win the game, and I just disagree. And I think this drive is going to show you why. If you want to call in, though, the link is in the description. As soon as I'm done breaking this down, we're going to do the call-in portion. Let me get this thing going because this is an absolute joke. So there it is. 13 minutes, 50 seconds left in the third quarter. This is their first drive. Here we go. All right. Start out of shotgun. Incomplete pass. Trey Lance runs for his life a little bit. So you're going to see both views of every play, just FYI. Good protection. He just didn't really find anybody open. No big deal. All right. Here's the second play of the drive. One of the rare times, by the way, he was under center. They actually ran a toss play. This is something that you usually see out of this offense. So it was nice to see an actual play called that Shanahan likes to run. Not many yards. So we're looking at third down and long, right? Third down and 9. Here's the thing is this offense moved the ball a lot. They converted a lot of third down and longs. This was one of them. Really good play. This is that Jimmy game plan, right? That I was talking about where he went 10 of 14 passing. He can execute this. Very patient. Floats it over the defender. Good touch. First down. All right, it's 1st and 10 again. Here's the first holding call. So I'll spare you guys. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So now it's going to be 1st and 20. They've already converted to 3rd and 9. Now they're in a 1st and 20 situation. All right, good play by Lance. Picks up a few yards. It's going to be 2nd and 13. Here's the play from the other angle. Designed run. All right, so 2nd and 13 on the 48-yard line. Good play design. Okay, so it was 1st and 20. Then it was, 2nd and 13? And now it's going to be 3rd and 7. Again, Jimmy Gimmies, he can do it. All right, so he's had a 3rd and 9 he's converted on. They started 1st and 20, and now he's in a 3rd and 7 situation. So another 3rd and long. No problem. We'll pick it up. We got it, right? Way to move the sticks. Way to move the sticks. Problem is, another holding call. So he's converted a 3rd and 9. They had a 1st and 20, converted a 3rd and 7, and guess what? Holding call. So now they're in a 3rd and 17 situation. This is so comical. This drive was so comical. All right. Hey, good play. Gets you down into a 4th and 5. And Kyle decides he's going to go for it here. It's a play from the other angle. All right, so he's converted a 3rd and 9. He's converted a 3rd and 7, which got called back. He was in a 1st and 20 situation, and now it's 4th and 5. Dime. Absolute dime. 1st down again. So I know he only got credit for 2 of them, but he's converted a 3rd and long, 2 3rd and longs, and a 4th and long. Okay, let's keep the drive going. 1st and 10 again. Holding penalty again on Benjamin. Another 1st and 20 situation. Unbelievable. I told you this is the worst drive I've probably ever seen in football. It's crazy. Holding penalty. 30 yards and penalties already on this drive. Second 1st and 20 situation. Okay, a little short pass. I'll spare you guys. A little completion. 2nd and 16. And he gets sacked. Third and 22. Remember, they started the ball. Let me be clear about this. They started with the ball on the 36-yard line. They are now, after this many plays, on Arizona's 48-yard line. There's nothing open. He's about to get sacked, and he's just trying to make something happen. Incomplete pass. Saw that, right? 6 minutes and 28 seconds left now. They started with the ball 13 minutes and 50 seconds. They went 18 yards, 12 plays. Mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. So let me stop sharing. I don't, again, I get some of that was on him. He took a sack, what have you. But this is a rookie quarterback. A rookie quarterback being put into this situation. The fact that anybody can put blame on Trey Lance for that game and the way that it went, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. That being said, we're going to the open mic portion. If you want to call in, the link is in the description. Let me get through a couple of these questions or comments. Let's see. Yeah, you guys are posting on it. Shortest hurdle ever. That must be use checks hurdle that you're talking about. Buddha Baker said it all. This is a good comment. Buddha Baker said it all. Greatness knows greatness. Let's go 49ers. Yeah, man. Listen, it was a lot. It was a lot. All right. I'm going to add Korean 49er. Korean, let me get this overlay going. I trust you. That's why I'm bringing you on. I don't have to worry about you, but I'm going to cover you up. I'm making this a audio only show, and that's how I'm doing it from now on. I am not worrying anymore about somebody coming in and trolling the channel to get it taken down. So for those of you that are watching, I'm sure you know the channel was compromised because we do these call-in shows. Somebody decided to call in, show explicit content, and the channel was ripped away. 3,000 subscribers, 8 months of content, many hundreds of dollars sitting in the account that was never used and from being monetized. All of it gone. And so listen, we're going to be better. We're going to grow from this. Not too worried about any of that, but we just have to protect ourselves going forward. So here's what I'll say. If you thought you were subscribed to Last Second Sports, chances are you may not be, because that was the old channel. So make sure you subscribe again and show some love. Also, if you have subscribed, make sure you go to the first video on the channel. It is the relaunch video. Go into the comment section and simply type subscribed. That's going to enter you to win $100 in fan gear, which we're going to be giving away November 3rd. We've done a Jerry Rice signed jersey on the show, so people can vouch for that. When we do contests here, we actually give things away. So make sure that you subscribe, and then make sure you comment on that first video saying that you've done so that you can be entered in to win the fan gear. We appreciate all the support. Again, we're building it back better than ever, and that's because all of you helping out. But I've got Korean 49er on the line. Korean 49er, starting off the new channel the right way. What's up, my guy?
I'm good, Jesse. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Fantastic. I'm happy to be back. The week gone was way too long, and it may not be the old channel, but it's still a good channel, and that's because of all of you. I appreciate it. What's up, my man?
I'm not too bad. Got a couple points about the game. For me, you should change the dance video once in a while. Maybe do a George Jefferson or, something like that. Just as, to break it up a little bit.
Well, listen, here's the deal. We don't have to worry about that for a while, because guess what? I've got to start all over. We don't get to be monetized anymore. It's a brand new channel. We've got the 1,000 subscribers, thanks to all of you guys, but we need 4,000 viewed hours to apply again. So it's going to be a while before we can actually monetize. By then, I promise you, I'll probably have a George Jefferson, maybe a Carlton, something. We'll add something in. But yeah, it was getting a little stale, but it's still fun.
Maybe even a Fred Sanford pretending to do with a heart attack. You never know. So
yeah, here we go.
Several points about the game. To me, where is Kyle in rolling out, doing more rollouts and bootlegs for Trey? Because you can't have Trey be the leading ball carrier when Elijah Mitchell and Sermon were getting pretty good rush averages during the game.
Yeah.
To me, you can't get Trey beat up like you did, like Cam and Robert Griffin III. You can't have that happen to a rookie.
Here's the thing, man, and I made a joke about it when we were watching that video. I said it's like when I play Madden and I use a mobile quarterback for the first time. I run like crazy, and that's not my game. I'm a passing player, but when I get a mobile quarterback, it's exciting, it's different. So instead of just using it every once in a while to get out of trouble, what do? I use it all the time. I'm running the ball. I'm spamming it over and over. And I feel like Kyle legitimately does that. He did it with RG3. He's now doing it with Trey Lance. Maybe he genuinely doesn't know how to call plays for these guys and treat them like actual quarterbacks and sprinkle in some of the weapons that they bring to the table, some of that mobility. So it's just one of those things that, he's going to have to develop that, and hopefully he does it soon, because you're right, man. He's going to get Trey Lance killed, and that's not something that any of us want to see.
Yeah. So one of the other things, I think the MVP of our team is not a player. I believe it's D'Amico Ryans, because if you look at his game plans, he's kept the team in the games. The defense is not giving up a lot of points, but of course our offense is not complementing the defense and getting the timely scores as needed. But outside of, I think, that into that Packers game, I think D'Amico's getting better and better with each game. So I think that's a very good thing.
Yeah, listen, D'Amico Ryans has coached a hell of a season. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is coaching a great season. Right now, he's the best coach on this team. And oddly enough, he is I think he might be better than Saleh. I know it's early, right? But the way that he corralled Russell Wilson and then Kyler Murray in back-to-back weeks combined 27 rushing yards, that's absolutely crazy. That's something that Saleh never was able to accomplish. So, and he may not be as robust in his game planning early, but the way that they mix in looks, He does a lot of cover 2 looks and then turns it into palms 4. Does a lot of man looks and then turns it into 3. He's starting to get in his bag a little bit with some of those post coverage changes, post snap coverage changes, which early on he was very predictable. Like what you saw at the line is what it was. That has not been the case the last couple of weeks. He's really been in his bag.
Yeah, so I think D'Amico's getting better and better with each game. I know that he may still have a hiccup here and there, and that's just going to happen. So, and one last thing is I don't see where I think coming into this season, Kyle thought that they were just going to try to resurrect the spirit of the 2019 team. And to me, you brought back a roster that had a lot of players with injury histories and players that we can't trust to play, at least if you can play 15 games in a 16-game season, I'll take it. But to me, and I also see Kyle not getting better as a play caller because he's getting figured out, and it's getting to be real tough to watch the offense struggle, especially when Jimmy's in there and other teams can look, and the other team's defense can load the box and force Jimmy to try to beat them, which I haven't seen very often.
It's extremely hard to watch. It's extremely frustrating. Kyle's got to get this thing figured out, man. In my opinion, this is his worst coach season. Again, I'm not calling for him to be fired. That's not at all what I'm saying. All I'm saying is he needs to be held accountable. When you rank 128 all time out of 191 coaches that have coached 50 games in the NFL, and Harbaugh ranked 5th, okay? Harbaugh ranked 5th all time in winning percentage. Out of 191 coaches that have coached at least 50 games, he got canned. Yet Shanahan seems to have a lifetime exemption, not only with York, but the fan base. And that boggles my mind. I don't understand it. I'm not saying that Kyle's not a good coach, but you go look at his offensive rankings as far as points go. He's had, I think, 4 times in like 17 years or 14 years where they've ranked in the top 10. He's ranked in the lower half of the league more than he's ranked in the upper half of the league. He's a good play caller and he's definitely creative, but he's not this unstoppable mad scientist out there. He's just not. So, that's just the way that it is. We'll see. But I just feel like people need to be willing to hold him more accountable.
One last point before I let you go, Jesse.
Yeah.
To me, if I understand the frustration with Kyle and I understand and respect that. But the problem comes in where, let's say Jed wants to fire Kyle and John.
Yeah.
Who's going to hire the next replacements for him? I worry because look at Jed's track record. You let go of Harbaugh when he had 49 wins in 4 seasons, and that was a lot of winning. I don't recall us winning that much since the Seifert and the Walsh days. And now every time you get a new coach, it seems that it's a tire. It starts out as a tire fire and then remains a tire fire when you let go of Tom Sula and Kelly and those kind of coaches. To me, I can't handle much more of that.
No, well, listen, and that's the fear, right? I'm gonna let you go. But I'm gonna answer that question because I think it's an important one, and there's 2 reasons, Korean 49er, why people don't want Shanahan to go. So I'm gonna pull you out. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep you in. I'm going to keep you in because as soon as I pull you out, it's going to put me on the main screen and then we're going to have that open mic thing blocking things. So, all right, let me answer that real quick. There's 2 reasons why people don't want Kyle fired. One, the Tom Sula era, which is exactly what you talked about. Nobody wants to see the Tom Sula era again, and nobody wants to see the Chip Kelly era again. Totally understand that. My rebuttal to that, though, is when those eras happened, they had just gotten rid of Harbaugh, right? There was a max exodus as far as talent went on this team, which that is not the case. Right now, they've got arguably the best middle linebacker in the game. They've got arguably the best left tackle in the game. They've got one of the best pass rushers in the game. And they've got a young stud rookie quarterback that a million people would love to coach. So as far as who would line up to coach this team, they're going to have plenty of suitors. So that's number one. The other thing is people are worried, well, what if he lands on his feet and he goes somewhere else and coaches really well? Listen, that's a possibility. We have to be okay with that. It's this mentality where you can't trade in division either, right? You can't trade in division because it makes that other team better in your division and you're going to have to play them. It doesn't really matter. If you get better as a franchise and you get better as an organization, who cares if the team you trade with got better? It's all about you. The way I see it is winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. If you're all about winning, it's only what's inside this building and are you getting better by the moves that you're making? And if it means getting rid of Kyle to do so, then you got to do that. Again, I'm not advocating for Kyle to go. I'm just saying he shouldn't be untouchable. There's nothing that he's shown me that makes him untouchable. And it's just the way that it is. So I appreciate the call, Korean 49er. Way to start off the channel the right way. I appreciate you, and we'll get together again next week. All right, brother?
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate it.
All right, man. All right. I'm going to bring in Mr. Michael Miller. Then Sersky. Sersky, I'm glad you called in, man. I love talking to you on Twitter. So we'll get to you next, my man. But I've got Mr. Michael Miller waiting. Let me address the elephant in the room here as well. And I saw this, and I just want to address this with you on the show, Mike. So hang tight. I saw somebody had donated to Grant's channel and said that you were the one that got my channel taken down. I want to make sure that everybody understands that is not the case. I saw the face of the person who did it. I have no idea who it is. It was definitely not Mike. And if anything, Mike has been extremely supportive. I get, there was that issue with him and Rombo and what have you. But to me, Mike has been nothing but supportive the whole time through. And he has posted this stream on his Facebook channel or his Facebook group. He's got 115,000 people on that Facebook group. When you go to join that group, there's a link to this channel in there. He's willing to give away a 49er hat or a beanie once we start to approaching 2,000 subscribers because he wants to help the channel grow and he's really invested in it. So I just want to be clear about that. It certainly wasn't Mike. I get maybe some of you guys have had back and forth with them, but Mike to me has always done me right. And I want to clear that up. It certainly is not Mike at all. So Mike, what's going on, my man?
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to talk about what the team needs to do going forward.
Okay.
I don't expect John and Kyle both to be here at the end of the season.
Okay.
I wouldn't fire them now, but the team needs to start people like Jalen Moore. They need to start the rookie offensive guard from Notre Dame. They need to start Dominique Lenoir as well as Trey Lance. We need to look at the future and see what we've got now. We're not a playoff caliber team with Jimmy Garoppolo. Just ain't. And I think looking at them people would save us a lot of money because if we do away with Jimmy, we're going to get 25 plus mil. We got to get rid of Mike McGlinchey. I'm sorry. I've seen him fall on his knees too much the last game. Just plain and simple whiffed on, a lot of people. There's 10 plus million we can save there as far as the cap goes. And with all that cap savings, we can bring in some secondary help. We need, one thing I know I like Jimmy Ward and all, but where's the interceptions? Where's the turnovers from him? We need a playmaker at that position that can get turnovers, that can change the game. That's what I want. We need another star corner to go with Lenoir. And I also feel like maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea trading Kyle Shanahan after the season. I think he's valuable. I think we can get a good pick for him. And to be honest with you, with George Kittle injury history, I wouldn't mind getting rid of him too.
All right. Well, let me say this because I know that there's a lot of people watching. They're going, "What the hell? Like, you want to decimate the whole team?" This team has to look very different, right? This is not 2019, and maybe. And I talked about this with Grant. Grant had a great idea. Trade Kyle to Minnesota for a first-round pick, maybe 2. Package him with Kittle and send him over there to coach his boy. Kirk Cousins. I mean,
I don't feel like you would turn that down.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I don't know how you could be mad at that. I mean, Kittle at this point, I love Kittle, by the way. Arguably my favorite 49er, right? But he's breaking down. His body is breaking down. He's looking a lot like Gronkowski looked during those latter years when he got into New England and was leaving New England, and he needed to take a year plus off and really recuperate and let his body heal. I just feel like Kittle plays a brand of football that is not sustainable past the age of 30. He's got a lot of money. He's supremely talented, but this team doesn't necessarily need him right now. Right. So, we'll see. Again, I'm not advocating for these things to happen. I'm just saying that we've got to keep our options open. If Buckner can go, then any of these guys can go.
That's, well, you don't see it because I'm not on here, but my Jerry Rice signed autograph jerseys behind me.
Yep.
If you lose a player like Jerry Rice or Joe Montana, Roger Craig, Ronnie Lott, when we lost them back in the day, players today losing them is nothing compared to what we lost back then when they let them players walk. I just think the most valuable trade commodity we got right now, being that we have no first this coming draft, no first the next draft, is George Kittle. And if you can get 2 firsts for him and maybe a first for Cal, there's three first-round picks we can have. You can fix the secondary trouble that we have, and you can fix that offensive line trouble we have. Very easily with them picks, because I'm sure we can get high picks with them picks.
Listen, you're right. You're right about that, by the way. Jerry Rice turned 59 yesterday. Kim shouts that out. Yeah, listen, I mean, you're and people are talking about it in the chat. You have to be bold. If you're going to compete, you have to understand that you're going to have to be bold. Look at the Rams. They've been extremely bold, and it's worked out for them. The 49ers have to get bold right now, and that's where it's at.
Who's won more Super Bowls in the last, say, 10 to 12 years? New England Patriots.
Right.
Remember when they let their best pass rusher walk to Arizona for a second-round pick?
Yes.
They move on from players. They make bold moves, and guess what? They won more championships than anybody in the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, do you think their fan base was super excited to let every good, talented player walk when they were about to get paid? They let everybody go. It wasn't just Chandler Jones. It was literally everybody. So, it's wild to me, Mike. Mike, I just want to say that I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate your support, my man. And I had to break it clean, make sure everybody knew it certainly wasn't Mike that did it. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you saying that too. And we're going to give away a hat or a beanie, but we're going to do more than that later on. We're going to build this channel. So we're going to build all 49er channels.
I appreciate you.
On Facebook, or not Facebook, but YouTube.
I appreciate you, Mike.
I'll let you go.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Later. All right. I'm going to bring in my man, Sersky. Me and Sersky have a lot of conversation on Twitter. And the Niner Empire, my man, thank you for holding tight. I'll get to you after that, all right? Sersky, what's up, my guy?
Man, what's going on, bro?
Hey.
What's going on, man?
Listen, I love talking with you on Twitter Spaces. I'm so happy you brought it over here. You and I have some good conversations, and you always bring the noise. So I'm excited to hear what's on your mind. What you got going on tonight?
Oh, hold on 1 second, bro. My daughter walked.
You got your kiddo. I feel it.
Yeah, man. Hold on 1 second.
Hey, Sersky, do you want me to go to Niner Empire and come back to you?
No, she's fine. She left out.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, sorry about that, bro. Hey, man. I'm glad you got your channel back up, man. Man, that was crazy. But I heard what happened, man. I'm sorry about that, bro. A lot of people, man. People do crazy stuff on the internet, man. They got mental issues, like, mental illness is real, bro. So, some people got it, man. But I'm glad you got your channel up and running, man.
Thank you, man. I want to say this too. I tweeted it out, and I just want to say it for the record. Whoever it was, listen, I'm sure that person's watching, or they're going to watch at some point. I'm the type to forgive and move on. I forgive you for whatever you did. Just don't do it to nobody else. Because what this last week, man, has sucked probably more than what you could imagine. I get it's just a YouTube channel, but again, at the end of the day, we lost, nearly $1,000 that was sitting in an account. We lost all of our content over the last 8 months. 3,000 subscribers. I mean, it's a lot of hard work, and me and my guys work full-time jobs. We have kids. This is something that we do because we love this and it's fun, and we love putting out content. But I forgive you, but don't do it to anybody else, man. It's not cool. So I'll say that.
Right. I agree, man. But yeah, man. It's always awesome, man, talking to you on Spaces, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? We be speaking that real, bro. But yeah, man, let's just walk through the front office of the San Francisco 49ers, man. You know, let's go to the genesis side of Kyle Shanahan. You know, when he first got the head coaching job.
Let's do it. Let's walk through it.
Yeah, man. So, you know, we can understand it when Kyle and John got the job, you know, to be the San Francisco 49ers head coach and general manager. You know, we understood that from the beginning because there was inherited players that, you know, that was not top-notch players, you know, and they had to build it from the ground up, and which we understood because, you know, they had Hoyer, and then they had Dakota Watson, Cassius Mars, you know, all those guys, man. You know, they wasn't, you know, nothing to rave about. You know, Kyle and John had to handle what they had to handle, and it was tough, but we knew it, we understood it. So when they acquired Jimmy Garoppolo, we seen Jimmy Garoppolo. You know, he comes out, he win us the first 5 games. You know, we're raving up and down like, well, yeah, this is the one, this is the guy. You know, everybody thought we were getting Cousins, but you know, we didn't end up getting Cousins. We got Jimmy. So he wins us the last 5 games in a row. The first mistake that they did was to give him that big old contract. Mm-hmm. I think they should have tagged him and see how he looked a whole full season next season. You know, and then what happened? You know, he got hurt. And then you know, hurt. You know, we had to ride it out with C.J. Beathard and Nick Mullins that year. Then he comes back, and you know, Kyle and John brought more pieces to the team, and you know, and we went to a Super Bowl. But you know, we started seeing the downside of Jimmy. We started seeing a lot of flaws of Jimmy, and you know, people, including myself, was having questions like, Is this guy really the one? I mean, is he the one? I mean, people always make the narrative that, yeah, Jimmy led us to the Super Bowl, which was not the case. You know, it was a full team effort. You know, it was mostly the running game and the defense. You know, we all know Jimmy has to have everything perfect around him for him to produce. So, you know, we do that, and then, you know, when you make it to the Super Bowl, that shows that your general manager and front office brought pieces together to build that team to make it go to the long run. So when you do that, you're supposed to consistently win each year. Once you build from the ground up and then you go to the Super Bowl, win or lose the Super Bowl, you still have to be consistent, you know, years down the line. And now look at us now. 2020, you know, injuries happened. Everybody got hurt, and we understood that. Everybody was getting hurt right and left. The whole team was just like breaking down, on IR. So, you know, you go into 2021, and then we still have Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jimmy Garoppolo is still, you know, a veteran, 8-year veteran, still making rookie mistakes. Yeah. You know, John Lynch, and the thing with Kyle. See, this is when the issues are starting to pile up now. You got a quarterback that's always hurt, always playing mediocre football, always average. And then you have Kyle Shanahan, who somebody has to hold Kyle Shanahan responsible. Me personally, you know what I'm saying, I don't want Kyle to leave, but if that's the case, if that happens, you know, it's just something we just have to deal with. You know, we got to move on from it. But he has to hold himself accountable of what he's doing right now with this football team. Right now, he's not a leader of men. That's the phrase that everybody is saying, that he's not a leader of men. And I agree with that. He's not a leader of men. You know, he has to find a way to rally these players around him, and including within himself. He has to rally himself to go out there and make the right decisions, how to manage the clock, how to manage players to put on the field, just like Travis Benjamin, who should never been on the field at all. I don't know why Kyle did that. He should never been on the field. You know, so it's just the play calling by Kyle is suspect right now. And he needs to hold himself accountable. No one is holding him accountable. I'm hearing Rich Eisen talking about, no, we shouldn't, 49 should never fire Kyle Shanahan. I'm hearing other people saying, well, no, 49 should never fire. I mean, they just like giving him so many excuses. Like, bro, somebody gonna have to blow the whistle in an organization. Someone has to be a whistleblower. Someone has to tell us what's going on. And John Lynch, I'm sorry, John Lynch is not a good general manager. I'm just gonna call it like I see it, bro. He's not a good general manager. I think he needs to go back to the booth because I don't know. It's just something about him. Like I think he made conservative moves, just like you said not too long ago about the Rams. The Rams, you're right. The Rams are bold. They always giving up the farm and the future for any player. They also send away good players to bring in more good players. And us as Niner fans, they are division rivals. We mock them and anything like that. We talk about them, but in the realization of it, they make those big moves and they always get to the playoffs.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah,
and what I like about what they did is something that we're not doing as an organization. They treated their organization like a doctor. They had to identify the problem, which was making their team malfunction, and that was the quarterback, Jared Goff. So think about it. Sean McVay has Jared Goff. They go to the Super Bowl. They lose the Super Bowl, and then after that, Jared Goff still playing mediocre football. Sean McVay says, "Oh, I can't deal with this." He identified the problem. That was Jared Goff. He went in and got Matthew Stafford, and look where they at right now. So Kyle Shanahan has a mediocre quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo. He knows he's the problem. Because he tried to do everything in his power to get rid of him. Try to get Stafford, Donald, Watson, but he's not attacking it. He's not trying to get rid of that problem that's keeping his team malfunction on offense. Now don't count Kyle out because he has some issues too. But Kyle knows what the problem is, but he doesn't want to pull the plug. That's what I'm saying, man. From the front office to the head coach to the quarterback, this is a problem and it needs to be fixed. I think Trey Lance needs to start the rest of the season because this guy had this offense going up and down the field. You know what killed us? Penalties. Did you watch the opening of the show, or did you come in a little bit later? I came in a little bit later.
Okay, I started the opening of the show. I showed the first drive in the third quarter where they had the ball for, it was like 7.5 minutes. Mm-hmm. It was a 12-play drive, and they went 18 yards because they had 3 holding penalties, a sack. Trey Lance converted a 3rd and 9, a 3rd and 7 that got called back, and a 4th and 5. It was absolutely insane. Sersky, if you can, I don't know if you can hang tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull you. I've got Niner Empire waiting. I'm going to get with Niner Empire, see what's on his mind. If you can come back in, I would love to bring you back in because I think you brought up a lot of good points, and I'd like to go have a little bit of back and forth with you if we can on it. But if you got to go, I understand. I just I got to make sure that I'm fair here. All right.
Oh yeah, man. I got time.
All right, man. Hold tight, okay?
Okay.
All right. Niner Empire. Saw you shaking your head back there going, yep, I agree. Sersky's spitting that real, so let's see what's on your mind, my man. Niner Empire, what's up?
What's up? Sorry about what happened to your last show.
Man.
It happens. People do some wild stuff. But
everything happens for a reason, man. Everything happens for a reason, and I just got to stay focused on that. But I appreciate the love, man. I really do.
So I've seen you on Grant Cohen. I've talked on the Cohen phone, pushing Niner Empire DMV. I'm based out of DC. Got my own group, my 49er group out here. But the main issue you having with our team is you got to look at all the mistakes. Like he said, he hit it on the nose. I've been saying it for years. When he won the 5 games, when Jimmy Garoppolo won the 5 games, the first thing you shouldn't have did was giving him a contract. You should have franchise tagged him. I said it off the break. Franchise tag. Why? Because he's coming from the Patriots. Anytime the Patriots give up somebody, there's a reason. Everybody tried to say, well, he wants to keep him. I say because he works in his system. But let's be honest. He won 5 games against teams that really wasn't looking for us. He was at the bottom of the barrel. Nobody wasn't really paying us no mind. When he beat the Jaguars, the Bears, I was like, okay. I was like, he showed that he can, move the sticks. That's good. But like I told people, you still got to give him a year to play in our system. Franchise tag him. See what he got for a whole year. He gets injured. You're not in the contract situation that you're in. You go back to the 2017 draft. You mean to tell me Reuben Foster and Solomon Thomas? That's John Lynch. John Lynch is going for these guys that they have high energy. I don't care about high energy. What did you produce? Were you a playmaker? If you weren't a playmaker, then how did you stand out? I never heard of Solomon Thomas. I never heard of Solomon Thomas until we drafted him. I was like, who the heck is Solomon Thomas? Then I looked him up. I said, oh, he's from Stanford. Of course. You got to stay local. Oh, we're going to go with Stanford. And then Reuben Foster. Reuben Foster has showed that he had off the field issues in college. And you mean to tell me you was going to pick him for the 49ers to play beside Navarre Bowman? Really? Come on, man. Then it started as a trickle effect. You get to the 2019 season. That was like a quiet before the storm. We caught people off guard. Jimmy G didn't win all those games. A good defense, good run game, play action. The defense is putting you on good field position the way you can score quick. You had a good run game. Breida fumbles one time and then he's in the doghouse. Like Breida was a good backup and a good spell for Mostert. You didn't know what you had in Mostert until you saw him in the Ravens game. Then you started using them more. Then you go to the Saints game. The Saints game, everybody says, every fanatic says, well, Jimmy G went toe-to-toe with Drew Brees. Well, let's look at that game again. The one little trick play that he threw to Emmanuel Sanders, he underthrew him. He had to slow down, catch the ball, fall down, then get himself up and run in the end zone.
I remember that play.
Jimmy G gives you what he's going to give you. He's an average quarterback. He has to have a perfect scheme game to really play at a certain level. You went and drafted Trey Lance and you gave up a lot of draft capital. Giving up a lot of draft capital, you're thinking, okay, he's going to work with him and he's so excited to get him, but you're not using him with the first string. It still is Jimmy's team. I said the locker room is so broke up. You got Brandon Ayuk who worked with him for a whole offseason. So, of course, he's going to be in his favor. Trent Sherfield's caught most of his balls and most of his touchdowns. So you would think, okay, Trey started against the Cardinals. I'm putting Trent Sherfield out there, Brandon Ayuk and Debo. No. You bring up Kelvin Benjamin. Why is Kelvin Benjamin brought up? Because, I used to coach him with the Browns and stuff. Kelvin Benjamin, I'm a Miami Hurricane fan. Kelvin Benjamin came from you. Kelvin Benjamin was a typical receiver. He was no different than Sonoris Moss. He doesn't get separation, and he's a speed receiver. So you're gonna use him in the slot. You got him on the outside, and let's see, he had three targets, and he had a penalty for holding because he's not a blocking receiver. He's a slot receiver. So you looking at Kyle, and you're like, okay, what is your plan with Trey Lance? So I've come to the conclusion that maybe he's trying to say, I gotta win, and this whole just seems like the 2019 team. The 2019 team is done. We went to the Super Bowl, we lost. Let it go. Let it go. To all the fans, let it go. That revenge tour you did after that season, what team does that? We got to start doing it the 49er way. Well, Jerry Rice preached it. Eddie DeBartolo preached it. Doing it the 49er way. We're not doing it the 49er way. You traded away DeForest Buckner for what? What did you trade DeForest Buckner away? Because he wanted to take upfront money and he didn't want to get paid down the line. So you give Eric Armstead after getting 13 sacks because of the company he had around him. He was getting single block. So of course he's going to get pressure. He got 13 sacks. Out of the whole season he had been with us, he wasn't even a factor. Doesn't stay in his lanes. Every time you looked at Eric Armstead, he was never in his lane. So, of course, a mobile quarterback going to get around him. When he's at D tackle, he's perfect. But I still would have kept DeForest Buckner. He reminded me of a little bit of Brian Young and Chris Doman. Leader of the defensive line, was always building up the people around him. It was a beautiful thing to see DeForest Buckner and Nick Bosa beside each other. But because you would have had same thing like Alden Smith and Justin Smith. Justin Smith was inside, Alden Smith outside. You got to pick. Do I double team Justin Smith or do I double team Alden Smith? What do? They double team Justin Smith. Alden Smith gets pressed. Nick Bosa, you constantly keep picking up people that's injured. That's starting becoming a fad with us. We pick up injured players all the time. You picking up Nick Bosa, who had a knee injury in high school, groin injury in college, another knee injury. His father was known for he blew out 2 of his knees. So, of course, look at Joey Bosa, groin injuries. But Joey Bosa's playing on a team where company around him, he can freelance. He can do what he has to do, but he gets pressure. Nick Bosa's doing good this season, but at the same time, you could have kept DeForest Buckner.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of situations, a lot of moves that we have made. Giving up DJ Reed. Look at DJ Reed now. He's starting for the Seahawks, our rival, and playing good ball. In the second round of the draft, who did you pick? You picked Aaron Banks. So you mean to tell me in all y'all scouting, y'all never looked at Asante Samuels Jr.?
Who has pedigree? Who has a name?
Thank you. He has a pedigree. But no, you go pick Aaron Banks, who has been inactive the whole season. So what's the plan for Aaron Banks? Is he going to be a Josh Garnett? He going to sit?
I hope not.
I hope not. But at the same time, look at our concept. We constantly keep picking up injured people. So now you got Lenore, who played the first 3 weeks, and now you're not even playing him. Dre Kirkpatrick, he's known for pass interference. That's what he's known for.
Yeah.
Getting pass interference all the time. Every team he's been to. Even when he was with the Bengals. Pass interference. You got Josh Norman. That's not the Josh Norman you got from that was with the Panthers that was going to the Redskins.
Right.
The only reason why he stayed with the Redskins, they was determined not to let him get to the San Francisco 49ers and get a deal. So you look at the corners that we have around it. You look at the defense. D'Amico Ryan is doing the best he can do. He's doing the best he can. He held the Cardinals to 17 points. Trey kept us in the game. Trent Williams said he still kept us in the game. Trent Williams could have sat out, but what did he do? He played. Obviously, he believes in Trey Lance.
Yep.
Players believe in it, but you got so many people. Jimmy G. Jimmy G is not going to win us a Super Bowl. That's what it is. We're not a playoff team with this offense being so stagnant.
Yep.
Now, all the plays, Grant Cohen said this the other day, and it made a lot of sense because he had somebody on there too. When you scheme for C.J. Beathard, Nick Mullins, hell, even Jimmy Garoppolo, easy passes, under the center, play action, stretch left, stretch right. With Trey, you put him in shotgun formation and doing play action out of shotgun formation. You think with the D-line that the Cardinals they weren't going to read that? And he still made plays.
They ran play action twice from under center all game and ran boots twice all game. They moved the launch point twice. That's it. The whole time.
But that's what I'm saying. It's to the point where you're looking at Kyle. And everybody, like Rich Eisen is going to back Kyle because he was, what's his name said on Grant Cohen? Rich Eisen was mostly famous in the 90s. He knew Mike Shanahan in it. Kyle is riding off the fact that he's the son of Mike Shanahan. Kyle's not a bad coach, but he's getting into that area of being considered a North Turner. Good coordinator, not a good head coach.
Yeah.
Like the last caller just said, he might not be a leader of men. Because some of the comments he makes in the press conference is just like, after the Super Bowl, you put everything on Jimmy G.
Yep.
No, that was your fault.
Yep.
You took the ball out of his hand after 8 passes in the NFC Championship. Then you put the ball in his hands. He was already rattled. We watched that whole game, my whole group at Buffalo Wild Wings in Maryland, Richie Road. Shout out to Torrey Jones, manager of Richie Road, Buffalo Wild Wings. We all said it. First half, we was moving it. When in that end of the first half, when he did not call a timeout and try to score, And you got John Lynch in the booth telling him, call the timeout, call the timeout. This is the stuff we talking about. You get in the Super Bowl and you make dumb decisions. You started Kevin Coleman over Mostert. Why? Because that's he keeps getting all these that are people that he coached that are not panning out. Sanu is not a great Muhammad is not a great player. Around good players. Julio Jones, Taylor Gabriel. That's the reason why he got so many yards underneath. Because they double teaming Julio Jones. They worrying about Taylor Gabriel taking it over the top. So of course, Sanu is gonna get all the underneath routes. So he looks good. Look at our receivers right now. Let's be honest. I would go with Trent Sherfield, Brandon Ayuk, Debo, Kittle.
Yes.
Now the question I asked everybody was, if Jimmy G was playing against the Cardinals, had Kittle played?
Okay, I think that's an interesting thing because I feel like the answer might be yes to that. I don't know for sure, but that's what I said too. It was interesting that the day that Jimmy G was ruled out is the day that he left as well. Last week he pushed it all the way up till Sunday before he made a decision. Yet Friday he shuts it down. Now the only thing that gives me pause is he went on injury reserve. That's the only thing that gives me pause. But I think you bring up a good point. Listen, Niner Empire, that was a hell of a call. I have to get to the next people. I've got like 3 people waiting, and I promised I'd get back to Sersky. So I got to get through this. Thank you so much for calling in. I have seen you call into Grant's show. Do you want to plug the Facebook thing? Is that something you want to plug? Or plug it real quick. Yeah.
Okay. It's Niner Empire DMV on Facebook. We about to start doing a podcast just like you.
Okay.
Just for people in this area to talk about 49ers and stuff. We have a lot of 49er fans out here. So
yeah. I'm on the East Coast too, man. I'm in Tampa, so.
Okay. So so I'll post it in the live chat and our Facebook group and everything, so everybody can if they want to join, they can join. But I'm always posting different videos that I have, you, Grant Cohen, everybody, so people can actually get to understand why we say the things we say.
Perfect.
Why
I love it.
we break down the film and why we break down the film so people can understand, well, this is why they ran this play. And when you have the fanatics that say, well, Jimmy G didn't make a mistake. Well, let's look at Jimmy G from a closer eye. Because like, even though we don't get like the actual coach's film, we still want to be able to look at and point out why he did the things he did and the mistakes he made. Trey Lance can be good if he can scheme good plays for him. Right now, I feel as though Kyle wants to ride Jimmy G because he wants an excuse to say, well, I played Jimmy G this season. This what happened. So my leg in is, well, I got Trey Lance next year. So if you want to connect me back on, I'll be on the whole time. So just
all right, yeah, I might come back to you for real. The other thing too, if you guys are looking for coach's film, I can't give it out, but what I can do is I can start doing breakdowns. If you want to maybe do them with me, Niner Empire, and you can post them in your group or whatever. I'm down to do that as well. So you can hit me up. If I don't get back to you, you can hit me up. My email is in the channel description. So just scroll over there. We got the show email there, and just hit me up there. We can work something out. But I'm gonna remove you from the stream. You can stay backstage, and if I can, I'd love to get back to you because you said a lot, and I think you're on point with everything you said. I appreciate it.
Okay, just all
right. Let me get back to Sersky, and then I'm gonna get to Waruna, and then Lee. And then Pinor. So be patient. Sersky, all right. You there?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Okay. All right. So you said a lot, and I just wanted to address this with you before I let you go. Is you walked through the whole thing, right? And the one thing you said was the first mistake they did was paying Jimmy Garoppolo and giving him, not franchise tagging him after 5 games. I agree with that. But I'm going to take it back even a step further, Sersky. Okay. You look at what they wanted. They wanted Kirk Cousins, right? That was Kyle Shanahan's guy. First of all, Kirk's going to be a free agent. There's no guarantee he's signing with you guys, but that's who they wanted. So much so that John Lynch admitted this offseason that they didn't even really look at Watson or Mahomes because they had a plan in place, which was Kirk Cousins. So then you guys are so convicted that Kirk Cousins is your guy, that 10 games into the season, you bail on that plan and go with Jimmy G. Explain that to me. That was mistake number one. Then you go this whole time without drafting another quarterback other than CJ frickin' Beathard. You pass up on Tom Brady because he's quote unquote not much better than Jimmy at this point, which anybody watched 5 minutes of that playoff game against the Titans would have seen that absolutely was not the truth. And to compound on top of that, now you're in a desperate situation. And I love Trey Lance. Everybody knows that I'm a Trey Lance. Like, I'm all on board. I think this kid's going to be great. But you are in a desperate situation where you had to trade 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick, ultimately using 3 first-round picks on a kid that if he doesn't turn into a Hall of Famer, he can never live up to those 3 first-round picks. That's the situation they're in, and it's all because this is what Kyle and Lynch together decided they were going to do. It's crazy to me.
Right, exactly, man. I couldn't say that better myself, bro. Because what they did to Tom Brady was silly. It was absolutely silly. Now he's over there. His first year in Tampa Bay last year, and what he do? Take him to a Super Bowl and won it. You know, so I mean, it's conservative work. Conservative when you play conservative, because being conservative gets you killed. It gets you killed. And you know, and then sometimes you have to take a step out on faith, man, and make big moves. So, I mean, Kyle and John so far out of these past 4 years, we've only been to the playoffs once. That's a problem. That's a problem. When you make it to the Super Bowl, when you build a team and you take that team to the most elite game of the season, which is the Super Bowl, and whether you win or lose the year after, you're supposed to still be in the conversation. And year after that, still in the conversation. Year after that, still in the conversation of contending to be in the playoff team or a Super Bowl team. And we did that. We went that third year, went to the Super Bowl, and after that, we were supposed to consistently win. But now we're back to the situation that we're in now. So this is because I know you got other calls waiting, bro, and I don't want to hold people up. But bro, go ahead. We know this is not a Super Bowl team. Can it be a fighting for the wild card type of team? Yes. But you want to go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off of Jimmy.
Yep.
You got to play Trey Lance. This is the most important thing. You have to play Lance this year. If you sit him on the sideline, some of the deficiencies that he has problems with that we know that we notice that can be corrected. But if you sit Trey Lance all of this year on the sideline, those deficiencies will carry over into 2022, and that also could lead to a problem. So that's what I'm saying. Go ahead, rip the Band-Aid off Jimmy. This is the thing. Jimmy Garoppolo put up 7 points towards the first half, 3 games straight in a row.
Yep.
You can't ride with a quarterback like that.
To be fair, he put up 0 against the Packers. Trey Lance had to come in on 4th down.
Exactly. When Trey Lance in the game, he creates a spark. Whether he's not starting and just coming into the game.
Yep.
He makes sparks. Jessie. So, man, it's just, you know, I'm just gonna tell you right now, if Kyle Shanahan named Jimmy Garoppolo to start a Colts game, I'm gonna start a riot. I'm gonna be all over YouTube, going to all different platforms, raising hell, bro. Because I mean, it's to the point where it's common sense now. Yeah. Kyle knows what he has in Jimmy. Kyle even admitted it in one of his press conferences. He knows what kind of quarterback Jimmy is, and who he is the guy we've been seeing these past few games. If Jimmy Garoppolo would have played in that Arizona game, bro, he would have had more than the calf strain. He would have had more than the calf.
It would have been bad, Sersky. It would have been bad. Sersky, normally I do these calls on Tuesday night around 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't know if you can make that work, but if you can, I would love for you to call in every Tuesday. Like I said, you know, I'll see you on Twitter Spaces. You always bring the heat. I feel like I could have let you go for an hour. I mean, shoot, I just sit back We got 60 people watching, and I'll just turn it into the Sersky show. Like between you and Niner Empire, my gosh, you guys just brought the heat. I appreciate you, my man. I'll see you on those Twitter Spaces, and if you can, call in back next Tuesday. I'd love to hear from you,
bro. As a matter of fact, I just came. I subscribed, and I got my notification on. So, bro, whenever you get on, bro, I'm getting on. I'm getting on, man. I'm calling in.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Sersky. You're a real one, and we'll talk on Twitter. All right.
You too, man. We'll do.
All right. Yeah, Sersky, Sersky, me and him on Twitter, we definitely have some good conversation over there. All right, let me get to my guy Waruna. Waruna, listen, you were the first person to donate to our last channel when we actually got monetized. Unfortunately, we're not there now, but I want to thank you. You've always supported the way that you have, and just one of the all-time great guys in the community. This community would not be the same without Waruna. Always bringing us back to light. So I got to hear, because if Waruna says Kyle should be on the hot seat or he doesn't get a lifetime pass, then we all know that we should listen, because Waruna is usually the guy that brings us back to life and gets us thinking straight. So Waruna, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
Okay. Glad to see you back, Jessie. So thank you very much for the kind words. So yes, I believe so. Here's the reason. Before that, I just wanted to say that about what you were discussing about, like just after 5 games, they jumped fully on board with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
That actually, in a way, confirms that kind of a conspiracy theory that Trey Lance was not Kyle Shanahan's guy. Because think about it this way. Just after 5 games, you are on board paying, 26 millions per year for 5 years for a quarterback. But still you are not willing to do the same work for the quarterback that you spent 3 first-round picks. That means he was not your first choice.
Varuna, I'm with you on this, and you know, before the draft, I had tweeted, because the 49ers in that Monday press conference said that they liked 5 guys, and probably my favorite tweet that I've ever thrown out, I said, if they like 5 guys, why would they draft a Big Mac? Right? I thought there was no chance that they liked Mac Jones in that way. I was on Trey the whole time, but I've done a complete 180 on the fact that it probably was Mac Jones. Like, there's no way that all of these guys who have always been right in the media were all of a sudden wrong. And it all makes sense. Somebody, I forget who it was. I wish I could give him credit, but I forget who it was. Somebody 2 days before the draft wrote an article saying Kyle Shanahan wants Mac Jones. The rest of the organization wants Trey Lance. So that actually makes a lot of sense why he pouted in the press conference a couple days before, why even on draft day they were trying to trade for Aaron Rodgers. I think Lance was his second choice, and that's why he was okay going with Lance, because he wanted the rest of the organization to be happy with the decision as well, knowing that if he went with Mac and nobody else wanted Mac, that he could alienate himself against the rest of the organization. And so he made a smart choice. A leadership choice, which, you know, I dog him for on a regular basis for not making those right choices. But, you know, the way that I see it is I think Mac Jones was the guy. I really do. Yeah. I'm with you on that, Waruna.
Yes. So the other point is about, should Kyle Shanahan be on the hot seat? Yes, I believe so. I really agree with you when you say that he shouldn't given a free pass. I ask people to check this on a different angle. Think about it. It's like a relationship. Say you are in a relationship with another person and it's not working. Are you going to hang on to that relationship saying, you know what, he or she is a great person, great attitudes, he has let's say, he makes me laugh at times and whatnot. How long are you going to hang on to that toxic relationship. Maybe he is doing the same mistake over and over again with you because he still does not understand the gravity of the value of the relationship that you two have. Maybe it's a time to let that person go. It doesn't mean, even, I mean, in the practical world, it doesn't mean if two people cannot get into a relationship, when they break up, they are going to stay, what you call, dissatisfied or in a very unhappy situation forever. They will go on their own paths and find the happiness eventually, most of the time. So apply that situation to this scenario. I mean, we have so many examples, right? The Bill Belichick example. Even think about the latest example, Bruce Arians. I mean, he was there with Cardinals and everything. Now he's a Super Bowl winning coach. So we have to make sure that we judge Kyle Shanahan based on his merits. We can't just say, okay, there will be many teams will be lining up to coach, get Kyle Shanahan, make their coach. My question is Kyle Shanahan the only coach that can be a lead San Francisco 49ers? Aren't there any coaches in America to take this job? We have a talented roster. I believe there are many coaches. But when I asked the same question from Jack Hammer last time, he even pointed out to Oklahoma Sooners coach. I can't remember his name. Last week, I believe he even benched Spencer Rattler, their starting quarterback, when he was not working, and he won the game, coming back from behind against, I can't remember who they won against. So I believe there are coaches. So because as fans, as media, the biggest crime that we can do is let these guys be comfortable too much. We shouldn't over criticize these guys. I agree with that. But we shouldn't let these guys too comfortable thinking that they can do whatever they want. Because the reason that we have to understand, Kyle Shanahan might coach another team. Jimmy Garoppolo might play for another team. Whatever the mistakes that do, the 49er fans, we are going to suffer for that. So let them go somewhere and do their mistakes, but not under my 49er jersey. So that's why I'm a fan of players, coaches, but when it comes to the team, I'm okay. If Kittle is not on board with whatever 49ers are moving forward, then I'm okay to move without George Kittle. That's how I do think.
That was a hell of a call. Again, if Waruna's saying it, he's usually the one that goes against the pack and is like, hold up, guys, let me be the voice of reason. But even he's saying it. That tells me that that 49er fans are leaning this way. They're okay with it. And that's crazy to think, because I know that, people killed Grant and myself in the offseason when we said that Kyle wasn't as good as what people think he is. And, now here we are a few months later and everybody's ready to jump ship. It's crazy to me. Waruna, heck of a call. I got to say, this is, and we've got some people waiting, some heavy hitters waiting. I got Lee, Pinor, Keneal, Fossey. I've got some heavy hitters waiting. This is the best call-in show we've ever done. It's on a bye week, on a Friday, and it's a great way to get the channel back jumping. Waruna, I appreciate you, my guy.
Okay, have a good night, Jesse. Glad to see you back again.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. All right, Lee, I'm gonna bring you on, but I'm gonna talk for just a second, just a heads up. Okay. Okay. So I wanted to address this before I let you go, Lee. So Tinker says, yeah, but still, you can rush perfection. If it was Mac, then why did the Patriots get him at 10 or 11? They got him at 15, if I remember correctly. And yes, we wanted Rodgers, and Rodgers wanted us. The NFL would never let that happen. Yeah, listen, I don't know about all that, but what I will say is, this goes back to that Monday press conference. So again, Kyle's throwing a little bit of a fit, and I'll never forget what he said. They asked him, are you under pressure to take a quarterback that's not Mac Jones? Because basically the fan base doesn't want it. And he said, if you're happy with a guy at 12, you should be happy with them at 3. Does that sound like a guy that was going against the grain a little bit, maybe? Because to me, it does. So just something to keep in mind. I don't know if we'll ever know for sure, but I'm really starting to believe that it certainly was Mac Jones. So anyways, Lee, what's up? How's the fantasy season going in our channel league for you? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm coming back, Jesse. I think you're number 1. I think I'm number 3. So it's looking good.
There we go. I like it. What's on your mind?
I'll just start off. Great to see the channel back up and running. It's awesome to see you getting things back on track. And it's great.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I want to be clear too. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are watching that are not subscribed or think they're subscribed because I think it's the old channel. It is not the old channel. Unfortunately, we lost that channel. So if you are watching right now, please please subscribe and hit that bell notification. The last thing I want to throw to you guys, if you have subscribed and you have not done so yet, or you plan on subscribing, as soon as this show is over, go to our first video that I posted. It is a relaunch video. It's about 2.5 minutes long. Go into the comment section and just simply comment that you have subscribed. That will enter you in to win $100 in fan gear that we're giving away November 3rd. So make sure that you get entered to win. I would hate to leave anybody out of that opportunity. And, we've got some people that are willing to donate and help us do some giveaways when we reach 2,000, which hopefully should happen soon. And it's looking up for us. So yes. All right, Lee, the floor is yours, my man. Go ahead.
Yeah, some great calls tonight. I agree. I think Will touched on it. We started off, the biggest mistake we did was signing him to that big contract and sort of tying ourselves to him. But like you said, the points you bring up were right on the money too. Kyle said, he didn't want to go out and get a quarterback that year. You had Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, and that's crazy to not even go out there and look at the talent in the draft, because that's what it all comes back to me, is our drafting. If you look at our drafts, 2017, we went out, we get Solomon Thomas, we get Reuben Foster, both of those didn't work out. But then we go and get like a guy like a Killer Witherspoon, we get Joe Williams, CJ Beathard, like that. And then we get the one shining little light on that draft, and it's, George Kittle. And I've said this for so many years, I felt like our scouts don't get enough of the draft. It goes to John and Kyle and Peters, and they continue to just make so many mistakes in the draft. Like George Kittle, a 5th rounder, was our best pick, right? Then we move to 2018, we go McGlinchey, we get rid of Trent Brown, and then we go Pettis. Those are terrible picks. With the talent that was left on the board, most people wanted guys like Derwin James, Minka Fitzpatrick, Vita Vea, Tremaine Edmonds, guys like that, Roquan Smith, and that's the thing. We had 2 bad drafts, then we get Warren in the 3rd round, right? He makes up for it. We also moved up to get Pettis. That makes it even more of a criminal offense. And a lot of it goes back to Kyle. Pettis, that was 100% Kyle's pick. It's his offense. We had Hoyer to start out with. There's just so many mistakes. I could go on and on all day, just as you know. And then 2019, right, we have a decent draft. We get Bosa, who falls into our laps. That pick fell to us. That wasn't hard. That was the easiest pick ever. Then we come out and we get Debo. I think we were the first to draft a wide receiver that year. You had A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin. Just the talent that we leave on the board every year is crazy. We take Jalen Hurd. Terry McLaurin was on the board. I remember pointing him out to people way before the combine and stuff, and telling him this kid is legit. He can do everything, and he's solid. And then we go and get the punter. I think Greenlaw was an alright pickup in the 5th round, where we got him. But it's our scouts hit, Greenlaw's, guys like that later in the drafts, Kittles, Warner, but they don't get enough say in the draft. And we just take so many bad picks early on, and that's killed us. And you can't have a dynasty or a team that's good every year if you continually fail in drafts.
Okay, Lee, I want to address that real quick, because you're so right. they've had so many top 3-round picks not pan out on this team. And in multiple cases, they actually drafted pretty good players. I think Solomon Thomas would have been okay. And in fact, he's having a pretty dang good year over in Vegas. And Banks, I'm not saying he's a bust yet, but what they've done with players like these guys is they're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. You get Solomon Thomas, you play him out of position. You get Banks, and he's a mauler left guard that they move to right guard, and then they tell him to lose weight and fit into their system. What type of sense does that make? Like, stop drafting these guys that are not made for your system and stop trading up for these guys that are not made for your system. That's even more baffling.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we try and make, these players fit our system instead of just picking the best talented player on the board, and that's why we miss so much. Like you said, Banks this year, I remember telling Grant, like, early on, like, man, Asante Samuel's in the second, you don't think twice, you take him, and he was there. We trade back, he goes one pick before our pick when we take Banks. Man, like this year, I said, guys like, Micah Parsons, Sertain, if a Fields or someone falls close to our pick, then you move up and get your quarterback, But now we've given up all this future capital, and we just got to hope that Kyle uses Trey the right way. And with all the mistakes we made in the draft, that's why, I think we're sort of in rebuild mode again, especially with all the old players on the roster.
Yeah, you're right. And what's crazy too is this year they were supposedly trying to win a Super Bowl, right? That's why Jimmy's still here. Yet, so you signed all these veterans, you're trying to win a Super Bowl, you've kept Jimmy, all these veterans are injury prone, and then you do a whole draft class and try to redshirt them. What type of sense does that make? Every single one of them, you tried to redshirt. Sermon was like the 5th back. He was a healthy scratch to start the season. Banks been a healthy scratch all season long. Ambry Thomas, I believe, has been a healthy scratch in all but, I think, 2 games. Trey Lance, if he had it up to you, you wouldn't have played him. Mitchell, obviously, you had to play. Moore hasn't played except for when Williams went out. Let's see. Hufanga, you've played a little bit, so I guess good on you there. But for the most part, they tried to redshirt this whole draft class. You can't do that. Like, you haven't drafted good enough to then take a whole draft class and say, oh, well, you'll be good next year. You can't. It's just not possible. Yeah,
and you're setting players back to, like, how you said about how you're trying to make, square pegs and fit into round holes. Like guys like Banks, like, who knows when he's going to be ready now, you know what I mean? And, like, when I think about it, like, right back to the beginning, Jesse, I feel like a big problem we had was we had Kyle Wright, a new head coach. We had John Lynch, a new GM. Mm-hmm. We upgraded Peters and gave him his position. You had all rookies at their jobs. You didn't have, like, a veteran person there that's been there and done that to guide these guys. And I felt like that's where Kyle's had too much power and had too much say in a lot of these things. And it's come back to, bite him in the what. And that's where we are today.
You're 100% right. 100% right. And I'm curious to see what happens. I mean, again, call after call after call. Everybody's basically saying they're okay with letting Kyle Shanahan go somewhere else. So it's just crazy to me to see how things have turned in 49er land. It's absolutely nuts. But we'll see what happens. I think at the same time, all of us that are willing to let Kyle go also want Kyle to be the one. We all believed in Kyle. We were all ecstatic. I know we were when they got him from Atlanta. He was supposed to be the savior of this organization. And, unfortunately, that has not been the case yet. I say yet only because I hope that he can turn it around. But there's a lot that he's got to change. I question a lot with Kyle Shanahan, and we'll see what happens with it. Lee, that was a hell of a call. Good luck to you in the fantasy league. And hopefully you can call back in next Tuesday, and we'll chat then. All right, brother?
No worries. Good luck to you too, Jesse, and great to have you back, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. Pinor, as if the show wasn't hot enough, we're going to bring in Pinor, who I know is going to bag on Kyle, but we're going to do it anyways. What up, Pinor?
Yo, can you hear me?
Pinor? Yeah. Oh, I got you. Yeah.
What the heck? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. We're good. I don't know why I lagged real quick.
Okay, all right.
But now,
no, you're good.
Good callers tonight. Good callers, man. Glad to see you back too, man. It's crazy how much subscribers you have right now. I was like, holy shit. That's how you know that it's all organic, by the way. Like none of that is just because someone shouted out anything. We all know you and we all know that it's great content. So
Thanks,
just glad
man.
to see
I
that.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's nothing there's nothing else I guess for me to say other than, see, because by the time I get here, it's like, okay, well, the heat is off when it comes to bagging Kyle. So what else is there to talk about? You know what? Here's what I'll talk about. I'll talk about something a little different. I feel like, why did it take everybody now to decide that Kyle is doing a bad job? Well, why are you guys deciding this now? This is even before the season started here, guys, where it was already getting iffy. But those 3 games, those first 3 weeks, and I still had people like Jason Aponte still saying, don't, and I don't hate Jason Aponte. I don't hate Splash Cousins because they're very bright. They do their homework. But why did you guys defend Kyle in that stream that I seen the other time after week 3? It was like, you guys can't see that this is going to keep going. We are where we are now. All of a sudden, I don't hear people trying to defend him. Why do you guys choose to decide things so late? It's common sense here, people. Just look at Kyle. Stop defending him so early in the season, thinking that it's going to be okay. It's not okay, because these problems that we're seeing now, they've been here in flashes, in my opinion. But I feel like this year is just it's the worst he's ever been, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. It just like even Eric Crocker. I went on Eric Crocker's call, and I go there, and he's just trying to defend Kyle. I'm just like, what is going on here, people? What is it going to take for this idiot to show you guys that this guy is not doing good? He's not doing good. He's not wise. He's a genius. All you guys want to say that he's a genius, but at the end of the day, he's not wise. There's a difference between you being a genius and you being wise. You're a genius in a particular subject, sure, but you're not wise to make good critical decisions. He just isn't, man. I don't like why do I have to see Sermon in the game way later than what I should have seen him? Why is Sherfield not in the game stretching the field? Why do I have to see Benjamin doing it? What is going on, Kyle? Did you not know that Benjamin doesn't have chemistry with him necessarily? It's Sherfield that has chemistry with Lance, obviously.
Yeah.
Why are you playing? Why are you playing these games with all these fans too during these pressers? Why do you have to do these stupid play calls that make no sense? I already talked about the line. The line has already been garbage. We all know that the right side, you can't really run there. I get it that he has to run there to keep the defense honest, but the defense knows that the right side of the line is completely garbage. They focus their attention more so on the left side.
Yeah, but he's not running there. He's not running there. They only ran the ball 10 times outside of Trey Lance. So they're not running there. But see, that's what I'm
saying. They know it. They know they can't do it all. And not only that, but what's up with Lance? Like, there's no rollouts the way I wanted it to be. Not saying that there isn't any, but yeah, exactly. So it's like very few than what there should be. Yeah. And I get it that you have to develop him in the pocket. That's fine. I get it that you need to have some shares there too. But we need more rollouts. You have to mix it up a little bit, Kyle. I don't have to be telling you this, bro. I'm not. I was never a coach at all in my lifetime. So why does it take me to tell you this, bro? Like, come on, guys. You guys need to start being a little more ballsy on your guys' decisions here too. Stop defending him. Like, okay, I say I don't want to make playoffs on the Camper Show, right? And shout out to Camper. You guys should go check out his channel too. I think that I personally don't think that this team should even make playoffs. And now if they do, they do. I don't want them to, because I need someone to get yelled at. I need someone to get fired, because I am tired of this. Because if you let this keep going, people will get comfortable. The office will get comfortable, and they'll say, "Oh, it's okay. We made the playoffs." It's like, no, we shouldn't be comfortable, guys.
It's the same thing that happened in the Super Bowl. People, Jimmy's deficiencies were masked because they went to a Super Bowl. And if you continue to middle around and win games and make the playoffs, then people are going to act as if there are no problems around here. And there's tons of them. And we're talking about all of them right now, but all of them are going to be forgotten if they make the playoffs, or all of them are going to be forgotten when Jimmy starts and they beat two teams that they would have beaten with Trey anyways, in the Colts and the Bears, right? Then everybody's going to be like, see, Jimmy should have been playing the whole time. It's like, I can already predict what's about to happen over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, because we've seen the same mediocre stunts that's been happening for the longest already. We've been seeing it all this season too. Yeah. And one thing I'll say, that if this regime fails, the only two people that, in my opinion, that should be safe is D'Amico and Peters. Those are the only guys, in my opinion, that I would vouch for, or I would say we need to take a look at them in an evaluation, and let's see what they have to say after this regime fails. All right, D'Amico, how come you didn't say nothing to me? Did Kyle scare you? What happened? You know, and D'Amico can say what he wants. Peters can say what he wants. But I really do want to look at Ken Dorsey. That is my favorite person to see, and it isn't just. It's yes, it has everything to do with Allen, but still, I just have a feeling that someone like that could be a coordinator for us, or something of that nature. And what is it? You know,
Tinker says we're stressing him out.
Well, good. Stress out, bro. Stress out. Go get your what do they call it? Lexapro, bro. Because it's ridiculous. Like, you guys should be negative, bro, because this isn't a good thing to be seeing. You know, and you know, I just don't get it with everybody being too sensitive and waiting to make a decision. If Kyle is doing bad, let's say it. He's doing bad. If Lance is struggling in a game, let Jack Hammer show us the flaws. Don't get mad at Jack Hammer because he's pointing out the flaws. It's okay if Trey Lance is struggling, because at the end of the day, we all believe that he'll fix them eventually. But stop getting pissed off at Jack because he's trying to show you guys, you know. And obviously, we get it that Jack's a little more aggressive with Lance. I don't know why, but I love it. You know, go ahead, judge him all you want, because at the end of the day, I know he's going to fix everything. I know he's going to fix it. So that's my boy.
Pinor, my guy, I appreciate you. Thank you for calling in on the kickoff show. I know it's a different day, but everybody says they missed the red dot. I wish I could bring it back, but listen, you know, I gotta do what I gotta do over here. So Pinor, I appreciate you. Always bringing the heat, and hopefully we hear from you next Tuesday. All right.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, boy. Have a good night.
All right, I'm going to get over to Keneal. Before I get to you, Keneal, though, I'm going to bring you on, but I got to address some things. So, first of all, somebody said that Grant stole my idea for the Minnesota trade. To be fair, and I wish I could bring the comment back up, that was actually Grant's idea. We were talking about it. I brought up the Raiders, which I think was an obvious one, and he said the Kirk Cousins thing, matching him back up with Kirk Cousins, and I thought that was absolutely genius. So, it was actually Grant's idea. It was a good one. So I kind of low-key stole it back tonight. We're going to get to Keneal, then we're going to get to Fossey, and then Melissa. Hopefully, Melissa, you can stick around. I'd love to hear from you. Love talking with you on Twitter. Last thing, too. Pinor brought up, before I get to Keneal, I apologize. Pinor brought up Aponte and Splash Cousins. They are like the founders of being Shanna Stans and I forget. Only Shans. Those guys are great. First of all, if you're not subscribed to Jason Aponte, make sure that you are. Aponte is a really good guy. Even he is going off on Kyle right now, so that should tell you a lot. And Splash Cousins is my guy, one of my favorite follows on Twitter. Disagree with him all the time, but we always have very civil conversations. So that's where we're at. Keneal, my man, what's up?
What's up, man? What's up, Jesse? Nice to hear from you, my guy. I got a couple things I want to address, man. Obviously, the first thing is Trey Lance. You know, me and you, since the jump, you put me on ever since Coach McElroy came on here, and you and Jack, I was like, Lance is the guy, and I feel like I was so encouraged by what I saw against Arizona. Like Baldy, like Brian Baldinger said, like it seemed like he was having to work in spite of the rest of the O-line and the receivers at times, but he played really well, and he played his tail off, man. Like the play where his helmet came off and he's stretching, trying to get more yards. It was encouraging to see. It was, for me, even as like the fan base, like going on the Twitter spaces and stuff like that, we lost, but we were like excited.
Right. Dude, oh my gosh, you're so right about that, Keneal. The atmosphere was better after a loss with Trey Lance than it was after a win against the Eagles. How crazy is that?
It's true. And I think this team, especially like this idea, like the whole 2019, like, oh, we're going to run it back. Like, no, it needs that fresh energy. It needs that fresh face. And even beyond Lance, I don't get Kyle for our rest of our young guys, man. Like Trey Sermon averages 4-point-some yards a carry versus Seattle, plays pretty well, plays even better when Trey Lance comes in the game and gets 2 snaps against the Cardinals. I love him. I love Elijah Mitchell. I think he plays really well, but he's coming off an injury. We couldn't even get a timeshare.
The thing is that Sermon was drafted to play with Lance. He was the perfect running back to play with Lance, and he gets 1 freaking carry. Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't get it. Benjamin playing snaps over Ayuk and Sherfield. Even I think of like Lenore, who was the big talk of camp, who was making all these plays and everything, and finally got on the field, even with some of the like when Verrett was playing and everything like that. Lenore was still playing, and now he doesn't even see snaps anymore for Josh Norman, for Dre Kirkpatrick, guys that are not going to be here next year. It's confusing to me because I guess in my eyes, if I was Kyle Shanahan and I wanted to keep my job, and I wasn't sure necessarily, I mean, it's going to be a tough year. We've had some injuries. It doesn't look like we're as strong as we typically are. Why would I not play the young guys? So even I could have that as like a safety blanket, like I'm developing these young guys. I'm developing the Treys. I'm developing these guys for next year. But the way he's playing this it doesn't make sense to me. Can you make sense of it for me? I don't get it.
Keneal, man, I wish I could. That's the whole frustration with it is what he's doing and who he's playing doesn't make sense. The game plan was absolutely atrocious. I just pointed it out. There was a stretch to end the first half, Keneal, and start the second half where they went 24. It was either 24 or 27, 24 of 27 or 24 of 28 plays. That was all Trey Lance. You can't do that with a rookie quarterback. You cannot sit here and tell me this kid is not ready and then do that. Make it make sense, please. Make it make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And the thing is, he didn't even like drown out there. Like, like with that game plan or something like that. Like you might think like, man, okay, the way people talk about Lance and his throwing, he's going to throw 4 picks. He's going to have like a 30% completion percentage doing all this stuff. No, he made some hell of a good throws, like some crazy good throws in the sense that throw to Ayuk, the throw even like to Debo where he had to make that tough catch. The placement was the only place Debo could get it, in a sense. And I don't think we're out of it yet. There's still a lot of season to go, but we have to understand who our best players are at this point. That Ayuk deserves 10 plus targets. That Debo deserves 10. I mean, he's getting the targets already.
Yeah, at least they figured it out with Debo. My gosh. Like, here's the thing too, right, Keneal? Like, if I'm going to hold the receiver back, it's not going to be Ayuk. It would have been Debo because Debo needs to get paid after this season. So you're going to make him come out and set some records so that you have to pay him as the best receiver in the game. That's not a good game plan. Like, just think about things. Like, if you're going to hold anybody back, don't let it be Ayuk. Have it be Debo so you can get him back for cheap. Like, come on.
It really doesn't make sense to me. And I guess like the idea for me is that like I get even that John Lynch has whiffed and people are sometimes coming at him like Lynch needs to go, but like this team is talented, man. Like we got talent up and down this roster, but it's not being used correctly. Like, and even, I mean, on defense it is. D'Amico's doing a hell of a job.
Yeah.
But Shanahan got to hold up his end of the bargain, man. And I guess I'm wondering if we need us like someone to call plays for him, in the sense that he needs to focus on being a head coach if he wants to be that. I think he's struggling with being both right now, because I think this season with the divide in the locker room, he has to really be the head coach and be the face and try to focus on the locker room and making sure that everyone's on the same page and everything like that. And maybe that's taking away from his ability to effectively be an offensive coordinator or to call our plays and to do things like that. I'm frustrated with him, man. I'm frustrated. Where's the coach from 2019? Where is that guy? Where's the creativity? Where's all this stuff? Where's all these plays he was drawing up, man? Like, what?
Keneal, that's the thing, right? Like, that was the saving grace, because Kyle's always had these big picture issues, whether it's time management, drafting the wrong players, what have you, maybe signing injury prone players. But all of that was overlooked because he was doing so well with his play calling, right? He was a wizard. He was a genius. He was different, right? He was sunning guys like McVay and Belichick and all these guys with his game plans. That's gone now. So once that's gone and all the other stuff hasn't improved, what are you bringing to the table? And once the losses start to pile up and you're not bringing anything to the table, what's the point of keeping you around, man? Like, that's where I'm at with it.
I agree. It's one of those deals where I get where people are like, Shanahan on the hot seat, but like at the end of the day, like, it's about results, man. Like, it's about results, and you've had one good year, in 5, and it's obviously the team wasn't great at the beginning, but this year we need to expect something. Like, we need him to bring it. Like, again, like, yes, you don't have the best quarterbacks in the game, but you have some stuff you can work with. And he just hasn't brought it this year at all. My other kind of deal I wanted to address was just the idea, I guess, for this team moving forward. And again, like, I guess my question, Jesse, is how bad are Ambry Thomas and Aaron Banks? How bad can they be? I don't get it. Like, this is a 2nd and 3rd round pick.
That's the frustration, right? Again, I don't know if Banks is a bad player, but he's a left guard that they moved to right guard and then asked him to lose weight and fit in their system. Like, that's not a recipe for success. And then I don't know what the deal is with Ambry. I mean, I had no issue with Ambry, but they waited so long to take corner. They traded up and took a running back who they won't even play, and waited on corner, which is so crazy to me. And I got a feeling that because I think 2 corners went within like 3-4 picks before Ambry Thomas. I got a feeling that they didn't want to go Ambry, but they were forced to go Ambry because they kind of ran out of options there. Like, it was just getting so late in the draft that they're like, okay, we need a corner. We'll just take who we think is best, but we need to redshirt him a year because he didn't play last year. I don't know, man. I hope that Ambry turns out. I hope that Banks turns out. But I don't feel good about drafting a bunch of players and having a plan to redshirt them. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I mean, it seems like that was like, I think Grant was, maybe talking with either you or Jason Aponte about that theory of like redshirting the first 4 picks. Like, oh, we're going to go win a Super Bowl this year, but we're going to draft for next year. And it's like, what? You can't do that, man. You can't do that.
You can't do that. They played both sides of the fence, right? They wanted to be a Super Bowl team, a win now team, but they also wanted to build for the future. They brought back a bunch of veterans that you knew were going to get injured, but they don't have any depth for. I don't know, man. The whole thing is wild to me. It's absolutely crazy.
Last question for you, man, before I get us out of here. Jimmy, what if you were the GM? If you were what would you do with Jimmy right now? I know Miami Tua's coming back. But there's some teams that could use a quarterback right now. Would you still try to potentially offload him? And if so, what would you take for Jimmy at this point?
Okay, so here's my deal. I would try to offload him, right? If it's possible, I would. But I'm not opposed to keep it. Like, at this point, I'm not cutting him. There's no point in doing that, right?
There's no value in that.
We're way past that as a possibility. But if I can trade him, I'm offering to people saying, listen, I'm more worried about the books next year. I'm willing to pay half of what he's owed for the rest of the season. But I want a 3rd round pick minimum in return, probably a 2nd. I'm going to go after a 2nd, but I'll end up taking a 3rd and feel comfortable with it. That's what they have to do. Like, you're not going to get a team that's going to take him and take on that full salary and give you something good. If you do that, the most you're going to get offered is probably a 6th, but you could probably get a 3rd-round pick possibly from a team that really needs them if you're willing to pay a big chunk of that salary. And you don't need the money this year. As long as you're willing to pay it, then you've got to be at least willing to shop them for sure.
Does Lance's knee sprain at all kind of make you cautious about like trading Jimmy, or like just in case Lance gets hurt or something like that? No,
I mean, listen, they put way too much stock into the backup quarterback position already. I don't know who cares so much about a backup quarterback position more than the 49ers fan base and the 49er fans and the 49ers front office, to be frank. No, absolutely not. First of all, I would be shocked if there's a real sprain there. Maybe there is, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny to me that they're coming up on a bye week. As a player, you can stay in the facility as long as you are rehabbing. Lance says he's fine. Everybody says he's fine. And then he even makes a comment like, oh, we'll see how I feel in the morning. I'm a little sore, but I think I'm good. And then all of a sudden he wakes up and he's got an issue. And then they even asked, I think it was Mayoko asked Shanahan, well, did he get an MRI this morning? And Shanahan goes, yeah, he got an MRI this morning. Like, dude, he didn't get no MRI. Come on, man. We can hear it in your voice. So it was smart, fair play, whether it's a real injury or not, fair play, because he's in the facility during a bye week and you get to work with him. That's a fantastic thing.
I hear you. Okay. I said one more question, but I lied. So one more, for Lance, if he does start, Lord, please, if he starts against the Colts, how do you think Kyle will be better? Do you think he'll make the adjustment, give him more of the pro style stuff? And I'm not saying that he should take away all of that read option or QB power stuff. I think it can be effective, but do you think he'll actually let Trey run the offense a little bit if he actually gets to play in week 7 or down the stretch?
Listen, if he starts week 7 for any reason, and he doesn't, then you've got to be very concerned, because you're telling me after a bye week that you're not able to implement your regular offense with him and mix in some of the other stuff. If the game plan is just as bad, I've lost all faith in Kyle, completely all faith. So I hope coming off of bye week, yes, I got to give Kyle more credit than that. I still think he has it in him. He's proven it more than he hasn't, that he can call a good game plan. So I've got to imagine that the answer to that question is yes. But am I confident in it? No, not at all. Not at all.
And you think he's going to start Jimmy though, huh?
100%. Yeah. It's coming, man. I'm sorry. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I can't imagine that I am.
But all right, Jesse, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for kicking off the channel the right way with me. I appreciate you.
No problem. I'm glad you're back, man. It's always great to have you or to be on. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you. All right, guys. I'm obviously giving people more than 5 minutes. I'm going to stay on for a long time tonight if I need to. I'm going to go to Fosse. And then Melissa, again, I know you've been waiting for a long time. Hopefully you can hold. And then we got Spin. Then we got John. So hang tight, guys, if you can. I would appreciate it. If not, I completely understand. It's a Friday night. Fosse, what's up, my guy?
Jesse, man, thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. Thank you for holding and waiting to come on. I know you waited for a while, so I appreciate you. What's on your mind, man?
No worries, man. First, I want to say it's good to have you back. Glad the channel is up and running again. But I really just want to get on here and talk about Kyle Shanahan. I mean, I know that's been the topic the whole night. And I feel like us fans are using this as kind of like a therapy session.
Yeah.
As to know, we just want some answers and know what is going on in his head. As far as I'm concerned, they don't know how bad it is. In the Bay Area, I'm out here in the East Bay, and fans are split. There's the Kyle Shanahan's diehard fans who are supporting him, who call him a genius. He's like genius when it comes to developing quarterbacks. I don't know what they're talking about. And then there's the other half that's like calling for his job. And the reason it is, I mean, this whole season, as fans, you just feel like you never got any answers that were right, and if you did get any answers, you felt like he was making decisions that weren't, the best. It was kind of like he was acting erratically. And now going into this Colts game off of a bye week, if we lose that game at home, expect to hear a lot of boos.
Especially if Jimmy starts, right? Like if they lose that game, can you imagine? Like there's already like you've got a huge chunk of this fan base that's just ready to like go in and roast Kyle, and they also want Trey Lance to start. If they are not winning that game and Jimmy doesn't look good, those chants are going to be brutal, like absolutely brutal. He's playing with fire. That's for sure. He's definitely playing with fire.
I'm one of those. I'm on the calling for his job guys at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not because he's a bad coach. More recently, he has been coaching the team very bad, but it's because if he believes in Jimmy, bring out the best Jimmy, and he's not doing that. I feel like Jimmy is outplaying what he's coaching, and now you're bringing in Trey Lance against the best team in the league, and you make him run the ball like 80% of the time. Are you trying to kill the kid? Like, this is our future. And, just all the other stuff before this year, passing up on guys that are Pro Bowlers, future Hall of Famers, Patrick Mahomes. We could have got Asante Samuel Jr. this year. We went with Aaron Banks. Just draft pick after draft pick, losing season after losing season. It's time for him to, get it right this year, or Jed York needs to make a move and, get somebody else.
Fozzie, here's. By the way, am I saying your name right? I don't want to. I've said it 500 different ways. Which way is the right way to pronounce your name?
It's Fossey. Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate
All right. Perfect. All right. Yeah. All right, Fossey. So here's the deal. You're absolutely right about that. There's a fine line that the 49ers are walking here. And, the face of the franchise, quite frankly, has been Shanahan, right? He's been the fan favorite. And now they've got this young stud quarterback who is the new face of this franchise. And they're walking a tightrope in this sense. If Shanahan screws up on his development and you keep him not only this year, but next year, the kid is now 2 years in a league and has to start all over with a whole new regime, a whole new play calling scheme. And when this happens to young quarterbacks, not always, but a lot of time with young quarterbacks, it can ruin them. So that's my worry, is that Shanahan dips, he's not the right guy, and he screws up Trey Lance. Then what happens? This team is not going to win for another 10 years if that's the case. So we can't have both happen. Now, best case scenario is Shanahan is the guy. He does great. He figures it out. He turns it around, and Lance is good because of it. That would be best case scenario. I just have my doubts.
Man, I do too. And if we lose this game against the Colts, it's gonna be real bad. I mean, I'm not going to the game because I know we're probably gonna lose. I'm hoping that we don't, but if we do lose, there's gonna be a lot of boos.
Man, you're absolutely right about that. It's not going to be good. Let's just hope the Niners win. But like I said, I'm calling it now. Jimmy starts, the Niners beat the Colts, then they beat the Bears, and then everybody's going to come back with the "I told you so." Told you Jimmy should start. Told you Shanahan's fine. You know what's happening.
So I would love to eat that. I'm just saying, like, any other coach in their fifth year, 4 or 3 losses in a row. I mean, This is the team you've built. There's no excuse to go 3 losses in a row. And if it goes to 4, I mean, come on.
Fossey, listen, if this was a college team he was running, his first freshman class would have already graduated.
Yeah.
That's how long he's been here.
But yeah, man, that's all I wanted to talk to. I know you've been on for a while. Short call. Appreciate you. Glad to.
Absolutely.
I've been an OG Grant Cohn follower. I remember when he had like 300 subs.
I love what he's doing. I love that he's putting you guys on. I'm a big fan. Wish nothing but the best for you, man.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for helping get the channel back up to where it needs to be. It's because of you and everybody else in this chat and everybody else that's calling in, supporting me. I can't thank everybody enough. Thank you so much, Fosse. Have a good night.
You got it, man. You too.
All right. All right. I got to get a female in here. The chat is filled with females right now, and I know that they want to hear from their girl, Melissa. So I got to bring her in. Melissa, what's up?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Good to hear from you. Thank you so much for the support. You've shown me nothing but love on Twitter. This is your first time calling in, however, but I love hearing your insight. You're very, very smart, very educated. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, first I wanted to say thank you for being on Mariah's show and pushing Mariah's channel. So got to give it back.
There she is right there. Mariah, she's saying, let's go, Melissa, with 5 fire emojis. Yeah, absolutely. Mariah, by the way, also has supported me since day one. I would love nothing more than for Mariah to absolutely kill it. You know, I love what she does at the end of her shows, how she always puts somebody else on. And I just think she's fantastic for the community. So love Mariah and would love nothing more than to help and support her in any way possible. So I appreciate that, Melissa.
Okay. My first question, it's not really being asked, and I never really got an answer for it, is Robbie Gould got hurt in pre-warm-ups, so you can't really do much about that. And then we overused Mitch Wisnowski as the field goal kicker in that game, which drove me crazy. And I have to wonder if it's a Kyle issue or is it somebody else's issue, but do they have like PTSD with McLaughlin from 2019? Because there's no other reason for me to think that you overuse Mitch Wisnowski in a thing that he has no experience in, with Juice being the holder 1 week, and then the very next week you don't use Sly practically at all.
Gosh, you know, that's a good question. And you're right. I mean, that was a disaster, right? In 2019 against Seattle, that was absolute disaster, but it doesn't make any sense, right? What's crazy to me, Melissa, is that not only did they use Mitch Wisnowski, but like you said, the next week when you actually had a kicker, you went for it on 4th down 5 freaking times and passed up multiple field goal attempts. Don't
even get me started on Juice, because I will go on a 3-hour rant about how I am so fed up with Juice and the people who call for Juice to get more snaps.
Oh, okay.
It's ridiculous.
You gotta listen. You gotta give me a little bit. You gotta give me a little bit of that. What's the beef with Juice?
Okay, my beef with Juice is my beef with most of Kyle's people.
Okay.
I don't like that he holds on to Hurd and Tom Compton and Alex Mack and Snoo and Jet and all his people, and overpays them and gives them every chance in the world, and will let them sit there and waste a roster spot when injuries have been a huge issue since 2017 when he came here. And he keeps wasting roster spots on these people that he calls his people. And yet someone like Ayuk is getting flailed in the media by Shanahan, by Lynch, and yet these people get off scot-free with just pass after pass after pass. So that's one of my major issues.
Okay, I like it.
My other major issue was in that particular game, Juice was used way too much on these stupid quarterback sneaks and short yardage on 4th downs. It's like mind-boggling to me that this keeps happening. It worked last year because we didn't have a Jimmy G to do the QB sneak. It worked maybe the first time we did it in this game, and yet they kept going back to it. And there are not words for it. And the money he is making is ridiculous at his age, and he doesn't get used as an offensive weapon. It's like they paid him and Kittle, and I'm a huge Kittle fan, so please don't get that wrong, all this money to be like the 6th and 7th offensive lineman. Because that's all they were being used at the beginning of the year. It's like crazy to me. And then you go and bash George Kittle for his injuries, and he's being used as an offensive lineman. He's not even being used as a tight end or anything else. It's just, I'm fed up with Juice. I like Hawkeye. I got made fun of for liking Hawkeye. I've been laughed at for it. And I do not understand the Juice part of it at all.
The thing is like, kind of to your point, Juice he's a really good pass catcher, right? Like that's where he should be utilized. But you're right. Like he was the opening running back, if I remember correctly, in the Green Bay game, which was super weird. You had Sermon right there. So yeah, you've used him in these running situations. You used him as this quarterback sneak. I don't know what. I mean, the first time it was cool, but then you come back to it. I don't know. There's a lot. There's so much going on, Melissa. Like so much going on. And I think you bring up a hell of a good point with Juice and Kittle. Quite frankly, they're both probably being used wrong at this point. We're all talking about Ayuk and whatever else, but yeah, you're probably right. I mean, what has Kittle done this year?
So much on the right side to bail out Brunskill and McGlinchey, who are struggling so much. And it's just like, as soon as the two of them are not there to help them out, the running game and the offensive line is showing their weakness again. And everyone's shocked that neither one of them is taking off. And then they will go and say, Kittle has done nothing all year. And I'm like, you're not watching what I'm watching, or I clearly don't see what they're seeing. But
well, the thing with Kittle, and I called this out. I actually had him as one of my players of the game against the Eagles. And Grant looked at me sideways when I said it, but you know, he basically ran the same route all game long. They had him running the same route over and over and over. But if you look at his blocking in that game and what he had to do to make McGlinchey get a good PFF grade, was absolutely incredible. I mean, the man can still block his butt off, and he's being utilized for clear out routes and nothing more. And so he's not putting up numbers. Now he's injured again, and people are frustrated. It's tough, right? Because Kittle's one of my favorite players. I just feel like his body's betraying him, and there's nothing that once that starts, there's nothing that you can do to slow it down, unfortunately.
You're also one of my favorite people who break down film on Twitter, and you can explain it so well for just about anybody. I mean, it's a rare gift. You, John Chapman, and I think 49ers film and favorites. I forget that they're the hashtag or at.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Chapman's really good. I like
you
Chapman.
three are like three of the. So my question to you is, everyone is obsessed with Asante Samuel Jr., and I'm not saying he's not a good player.
Yeah.
But for me, I came to bat just like John Chapman did for interior offensive line for the second round. And my question is, if Kyle likes this whole changed, multifaceted, do everything all over the line thing, which he's doing with Armstead and he did with Thomas, he's doing now with Banks, he did with Brunskill, School, all this stuff, why didn't we take a bigger look at Creed Humphrey, who can play guard and center?
Yes, thank you. Yes,
that
you're absolutely
drives
right.
me crazy that we went and got another old center in Mag who can't stay healthy, just like Richburg, and we're gonna have the same issues down the line.
Oh my gosh, you're absolutely right about that. Humphrey would have been perfect. He could have filled in at center. He could have been the future center. He could have played guard for now, and he's having a hell of a season.
So,
yeah. Melissa, fire call. First of all, thank you so much for all the love, all the support. Make sure. What's your Twitter handle for everybody?
It's NJ49er Izzy.
Okay, NJ49er Izzy.
No,
IZZY.
And it's NJ49 IZZY. Yeah.
Okay, no ER. Okay, you're right. NJ49 IZZY. Okay, follow her on Twitter. She's fantastic. Absolutely love her. Again,
I'm glad you didn't wait for YouTube to help you out, and you
listen. They still haven't responded, Melissa. They still haven't responded to me. I don't know if they're ever going to respond, but here we are. All of you guys have supported the hell out of it. All you guys are calling in. All you guys are keeping this thing jumping. So I appreciate all of you. That's you included, Melissa. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Okay.
You too.
All right. Bye bye. I love it when the females call in and bring heat. Speaking of females, Spin, I'm going to bring you on. Then I'm going to go to John. So hang tight if you can, John. Spin, before I get to you, though, Debbie, I want to answer this question. Thank you for the support, by the way. Also a staple in the community. Jessie, when will you be monetized again? I got to get to 4,000 hours, 4,000 viewership hours, and 1,000 subscribers. Obviously, with the help of everybody getting the word out, we've passed 1,000 in one day. That was fantastic. But yeah, I've got to get to 4,000 watched hours. So here we go. We're back on the grind. But it's not about that. We'll get there. I know we will. It's just the content, man. That's ultimately the content, Debbie, is what hurts the worst. I'll never get that back. That's the crappy part of it. But like I said, we'll grow back stronger because of all of you. And I'm seeing so many people in the chat tonight that never watched or never chimed in. And that tells me that we're going to grow back and we're going to be strong. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so. This is not the old channel. So if you think you're subscribed, you are probably not. And once you do subscribe, make sure that you go to the first video that I posted. It is a relaunch video. Make sure that you comment on that video saying that you have subscribed, because we are doing a giveaway November 3rd for $100 in fan gear of your choice. So with that said, Spin, regular caller, I'm happy you found me. I'm happy you're back on the show. What's going on, Spin?
Hey, man, I'm so happy to see you back on. It's great. I was looking all over for you, and it's like, what in the world? I'm thinking, man, why did he miss his day? And it's like, man, you have to be on 3 or 4 times a week, dude. Not just once. I
know. Listen, the 49er, the thing is that we run, obviously, a sports channel. There's 4 of us, and we have dedicated days throughout the week where everybody contributes, does their own show, gig. Yeah, I know, but I love my guys, man. So we'll see. I probably now, especially now that we're on the grind and we got to start all over, I'll probably start doing 49er shows twice a week. Just awesome. Until we at least get there. So I appreciate that, Spin.
As far as Kyle's concerned, maybe he's massively under pressure. Who knows what's going on there? But if he's under pressure, he's absolutely positively really messing up bad now. You can't say the game he called last week is even a game. That was absolutely the most trash. I could call the plays better than him if he's going to do that again. It's as simple as that. I mean, hardly any play action, hardly any runs, hardly any flares out to the wide receivers, no end arounds, no nothing. Screens. Oh my goodness, dude. 25% of his game or more was handing off to Trey to go run or more, right? That's stupid, especially when you want this kid to be your franchise quarterback for the future. Franchise broken bone. No. You can see the reason why the Niners are doing bad. If you look at the film and you see that all the safeties are drawn up within 10 to 15 yards of the line of scrimmage, you're not going anywhere. Why? Because you let it happen to yourself. Let it happen yourself. Maybe he's done with this team. Maybe he really wants to get Aaron Rodgers next year and go to Denver. Who knows, dude? Who knows? I mean, back where his father's home is, basically, right?
Yeah. The thing is, Denver's doing pretty good. Like, that's a crappy game plan because I think Denver might be keeping Fangio around,
I can't see him continuing if he starts Garoppolo against the Colts, because his fan base is going to be all against him. Whether he wins or not, his fan base is going to be against him because they can tell that he's not wanting Trey. whether it's that he's not wanting Trey to play this year or he just wanted Mac Jones more. I really have no clue there. But another thing they need to do is fire the entire training staff. Absolutely fire the entire training staff. You can't have a team with this many injuries already. 5 games into the season, and they're reaching close to what they did last year. My goodness, dude, something's wrong. Something's drastically wrong, and it's obvious. They have this physical training team that is mostly hockey players, and some guy who doesn't even really have a degree in it. It's like, come on. And like the previous caller, what the heck is Jalen Hurd and Tom Compton and Benjamin and Dante Johnson and all these players who wouldn't be playing football on any other team doing on our team and starting?
Is there I haven't even heard anything about Hurd. Is he even going to play at all this year? Like, what is going on?
Probably not. And he'll probably still be on the team next year because he's one of Kyle's pet projects or something. Oh my goodness. Plus, I don't think Kyle should be a coach. He should be at best an offensive coordinator simply because he has absolutely zero people skills. Zero.
Well, even when he was an offensive coordinator, he did his best work when he was up high, right? Like when he was in the skyboxes, right? And they say it now that he even when he goes down, he goes down the sideline to get behind the defense so he can see what the defense is doing to call plays. Like you can't remove yourself that far from the field of play and keep an eye on the clock and everything that's going on around you when you're literally keying in on the defense and watching the defense so that you know what plays to call. I feel like he would be great as an offensive coordinator. He's already proven that, but there's just so much that goes into being a head coach, and you either got to find somebody that you can trust to manage all the other stuff for you or that you can trust to call the plays for you. And right now he's got neither.
And he's misusing his players. My goodness. Why you don't have your second best wide receiver out there 100% all the time, I have no clue. I cannot understand that at all. And my last and final point here, Jalen Moore. Why the hell is he not replacing one of the crap linemen we have?
Oh my gosh, I would love for him to play right tackle right now. Love for him to play right tackle. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Gosh. You know what, man? There's a lot that's going to have to change in this offseason, this upcoming offseason.
Well, it is. It is. We have 70-80% of our team is 1 year.
Yep. It's
we're in deep doo-doo, dude.
And here's the thing, right, Spin? And here's what's frustrating. Kyle's already been given a chance to build a whole roster. Like I said, if he was a college coach, all of his original freshmen that he brought in to the program would have graduated.
Yep.
You've already had a chance. You've completely screwed it up. So now what happens? You get another chance. Now you get another 5-6 years to figure it out. Like it's not going to work.
Their GM should be coming down on Kyle, asking him why he's not playing Ayuk, why he is not replacing one of the linemen, and why he's letting Kittle fire off his mouth. Kittle needs to have his mouth muzzled along with Juszczyk. They need to shut their mouths and never be interviewed again until they have something decent to say about their quarterback.
Here's the thing, people it's harsh, but here's what I'll say. People were like, well, see, Kittle loves Lance. They're at the San Francisco Giants game together. And I'm like, you realize that the 49ers PR puts that together, right? Like that's not, that wasn't their choice. It's not like he called them up and was like, hey, Lance, come to the game with me. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Listen, I'm not saying he has it out for Lance, but he clearly is a Jimmy guy. And that's the problem. That's the problem, Spin. Regardless, you've got a bunch of human beings. They're football players, but you've got a bunch of human beings that are in this locker room.
That's why
they
Jimmy
have no
shouldn't
choice
be here either.
Right. but they have no choice because of Jimmy being here to make a choice one way or another. Now, some feel stronger about it than others. Some may make a fuss about it and others may not. But every single player has a preference. And I guarantee it's pretty split. And if that's the case, when things don't go right, then that's when you have a split in the locker room. That's what I'm ultimately worried about. But it's too late for that. You can't just dump Jimmy now for nothing. You have to trade him. They're probably not going to do that. So this is going to be an up and down thing all year. And if they don't find a way to get to at least 10 wins, it's going to be an issue for this team long term.
Oh, so bad.
Anyways.
Awesome, man. Come on, get on here 3 times a week, huh?
I'll try, man. I'll try. I appreciate you, Spin, always supporting me. Means the world to me. And at the very least, I'll definitely be back Tuesday, and we'll do the call-in show then. And I know I'll hear from you. I appreciate you.
You're darn right. All right. Thank you, man.
All right,
you have a good one.
You. All right. All right. John has been waiting forever. He is my last caller unless somebody else decides to call in right now. The link is in the description. Otherwise, we're going to end it on John, and we'll go from there. John, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, thank you for you called in, then you dropped out, then you got back in the chat and asked me to call in. So thank you for being patient with me. Appreciate you. The floor is yours, man. Take it away. What you got?
Yeah, I just have a few like small topics.
Yeah, you're good.
One is, would you bring back Verrett?
No, I can't do it, man. He's going to be 30. He's way too injury prone. I can't do another year of a 30-plus-year-old player that can't stay healthy. No.
Mm-hmm. I feel the same way. Yeah, I think you just have to like get rid of these injury history people.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like the whole secondary is filled with them. And, they drafted Ambry Thomas, they drafted Lenore, they drafted Hufanga because they're supposed to replace the Tarts and the Verretts next year, the K'Wan Williams. So that's got to be what happens. I think all 3 of those guys should be gone, unfortunately, next year. Maybe Tart. I'd be willing to bring Tart back if he can stay healthy. But K'Wan's definitely got to go, and Verrett's definitely got to go.
Yeah, I agree. Another topic is, I think we need sort of a healthy, just running back. Like we have one running back. Like all these people, we just need one guy that we can rely on. And all these other teams have these one guys like Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry. They have this one guy. We have like 3 or 4 just average running backs. I think that really needs to be a priority.
Yeah, I mean the problem though is like where are you going to find the money? And right now you've got no first round picks. It's like, Kyle's supposed to be the genius that can take any running back and turn him into gold. And right now we're kind of seeing that's not necessarily the case. So I don't disagree with you. It would be great to have a bell cow. I just don't know what it's going to cost and where are you going to find it, but I think you're spot on with that. We need a reliable running back. Yes.
You want to know my idea?
Yeah. Throw it out.
Miles Sanders.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
I was watching the Thursday night game. The Eagles don't use him at all.
He had
like 9 carries in the game. I mean, and he's a pretty good back.
Wow. That's a really, really good idea. Okay. And I dig Miles Sanders. He's young. He's had some durability things, but at the end of the day, when he is healthy, that he's a bell cow. He can definitely carry the ball. He's a good player. And I'd be willing to take a shot on it. The health thing concerns me, but honestly, with any running back, I guess it's probably concerning. There's so many running backs that get hurt across the league. It just kind of is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. This is a big one. Okay, so do you remember week 2, right, against the Eagles when they had like, I don't know, 3 points or something in the first half? And it was that last drive of the first half. And it was that throw to Debo where that sort of like opened up that whole drive.
Yep.
And do you remember how everyone was going off on like how short of a window that was that Jimmy threw it?
Yeah.
I mean, did Lance not make that same throw against the Chargers in preseason? I mean, it's like the exact same window.
Yeah, actually, I completely forgot about that. I was so shocked that Jimmy made that throw, and it was a hell of a throw. I don't want to take anything away from Jimmy, but you're right. He had the and it was Benjamin too, was it not?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Benjamin, yes, you're absolutely right. Same window, went for a touchdown. Yes, completely remember that. Yes, you're right. And then not only that, but Lance, the throws he made on Sunday, my gosh, some of those
I
were
know.
incredible.
I mean, it's just if our coach could call up a great game plan, we could like actually use his like skill set.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? What a thing to dream of.
Mm-hmm. All right, and my last topic, right?
Yeah.
So everyone, I mean, there's been such a change in the 49ers fans that I've seen like on Twitter. It's like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, they were all like maybe 10-20% was like, oh yeah, fire Kyle. Now on like every post I see like get rid of Kyle, get rid of Lynch. And I just don't have trust in Jed York to get rid of these guys.
Yes, dude.
I mean,
not only that, but do you have trust in him hiring the right guy? Like that's tough too.
I mean, every year it's like we just want a change in the organization, right? Like last year, Robert Saleh was gone, right? And guess what we did? We just promoted D'Amico Ryans. No change. There's no change in the organization, and I think as fans, we just want like a splash. We want there to be a splash to change up this whole thing.
You're right about that, and it's crazy, right? Because I feel like I've somewhat become a voice of reason on it. Because if you listen to me in the offseason, you listen to me after weeks 1 and 2 when they actually won. I was like, listen, things are not well. Shanahan is overrated, and people give him a pass. They continue to win, and whatever. Then after the loss to Green Bay, everybody's like, oh, now everybody wants to talk trash because we finally lost. We're still 2-1. And I'm like, listen, I've been consistent the whole time. This has not changed. I'm telling you, this is the way it is. And now that everybody's flooded and saying, all right, yep, Shanahan's got to go. I'm like, well, hold on a second. Like, I'm not saying he has to go, but I'm glad you guys finally came to this side a little bit and are realizing what the hell's going on. I don't know if you need to like get a pitchfork and burn things in his yard or anything. But listen, he's not beyond getting traded or fired. Like Harbaugh, I said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again. 191 coaches during the history of the NFL have coached at least 50 games throughout their career. Kyle Shanahan in win percentage out of 191 ranks 128. Harbaugh, in contrast, ranks 5th. If you got rid of Harbaugh after an 8-8 season, ranked 5th on that list, then certainly if you have another losing season, making it 4 out of 5, you can fire the guy that's 128th out of 191. You can definitely let him go. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like I think you just got to move on from somebody after this year. Even just based on the start that we have, right? It's just like you got to move on. You got to get some fresh eyes and like mouths in this system.
Yeah. You know what? Here's what's most likely going to happen if they do have a losing season. The scapegoat's going to be John Lynch, and we both know. Everybody listening knows that that's not fair. John Lynch is not he's not calling the shots there. It's Shanahan. So sure, you can scapegoat Lynch, but nothing's going to change. I mean, this is still the same organization that is ran from York, then Kyle, and then everything else goes down from there. So you can get rid of Lynch, you can use him as a scapegoat, but things are not going to be fundamentally different within that organization because of it.
Well, yeah, but also like Lynch is so, I mean, not weak, but he just doesn't make any big decisions, right? That's all Kyle. So I feel like
for sure,
if it is Lynch, then it would be a good idea to get someone very like just stronger, not just.
But let me ask you this though, John, and here's what I worry about. It goes back to the very first point that you made, which is, do you trust York to make that decision? Do you really think that York is going to say, hey, I'm going to bring in my guy and he's the one calling the shots? Or is it more likely that Kyle gets to make the decision again, and they probably promote somebody within the organization, and we're doing the same thing? Peters, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I want to trust Jed, but I mean, you just can't, right?
Which, by the way, Ambry Thomas was a Peters pick. So is he going to be any better? I don't know about that.
I mean, everybody's saying, "Oh, Peters is such a magician. He like makes these finds," and it's like, not really.
Yeah. Who, where, what? What are we talking about?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh! You got anything else on your mind, my man?
Oh, that you need to delete a tweet saying no one cares about baseball.
Well, the funny thing is not many people cared about that tweet. I didn't get many likes on it, but I thought it was funny. You know what? It was funny to me because it was like the Fox thing came up, and it was like nobody cares. I just, you know what? I used to love baseball, man. I don't know how old you are, but I grew up playing ball. Excuse me. I grew up playing baseball, and it was my favorite sport growing up. But what happened was I grew up during that steroid era. And King Griffey Jr., I'm from the Northwest. King Griffey Jr. is my favorite baseball player of all time. And he was the only one that wasn't juicing. And then, everybody started to pass him and, look good and whatever. And then he had all those injuries. And basically after that steroid era, I just kind of fell out of love with it, to be real with you. But, I used to enjoy baseball quite a bit. Now I can't do it. If I'm there in person, I'll take in a game and I do enjoy it. But watching it on TV, I can't go.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I am a big baseball guy, so that's my sport.
You know what, John? Because you called in and supported me, as soon as this show's over, I'm deleting that tweet.
All right, there it is.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you so much for supporting. I really appreciate you. You have a good night, okay?
You too.
All right, man.
Bye.
I got to delete the tweet. I said I'd delete the tweet, so I got to delete it. Amin, the frickin' dream. What's up?
What's up?
What's up, man? What's on your mind? What you got?
Well, to whoever thinks that Jimmy Garoppolo would have done any better against the Cardinals than Trey Lance, they're out of their mind. Because I heard so many people, even like my uncle before the game, we like the day before he comes over, he's like, well, if Lance doesn't do well, Jimmy would have won it. If Jimmy's gonna win us, if Jimmy played, he was gonna win us the game, and da da da. Even my other cousin, he's texting me at halftime. He's like, "See, Lance, is he really the answer?" And I'm like, "Dude, Jimmy Garoppolo, did you not watch the Seattle game? Did you not watch the Green Bay game? Jimmy did not do any better than Lance, number one. And like that offense, the offensive line played horrible on Sunday. The offensive line straight up was bad, like really bad. And we already know Jimmy's not mobile. Some plays like Lance would extend and he would try to run and he would try to extend plays. Jimmy would just get sacked again time after time if he was playing in that game. He just would. He would get sacked over and over again. He wouldn't have done any better. And we saw it against Seattle. We saw it against Green Bay. He would have not done any better than Lance did in that game.
Here's the thing, and here's what pisses me off a little bit, is they wouldn't have called that game plan for Jimmy. They would have never put that much on his shoulders. You're talking about an 8-year veteran. Never, ever, ever would they have 79% of that game fall on Jimmy. Never would there be a stretch where 20, got it written down, 24, it's either 24 out of 27 or 24 out of 28 plays were Trey Lance design plays. Never. That would never happen. You would never open a game going empty set shotgun. It blows my mind that you tell me this kid isn't ready and then you do everything the exact opposite. What you say and what you show are so different, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah, but I honestly don't know if Kyle's the right guy to develop Lance. Because, to be honest, I watched this documentary that NBC put out called The Choice. If you haven't checked it out already, go do so, because it's really like the last part of it like explains how like the decision of Kyle and John, and it basically said that Kyle was watching Lance film. He calls up John Lynch and sends him. He's like, "Check out Lance. I'm really feeling some of his plays." He sends John some of Lance's highlights and tape, and like Lynch stays up the whole night watching it. And a week before their draft, Lynch said something like, he's like, "Kyle, the decision's up to you. I'm not trying to have the pressure, but it's up to you because you're the guy who has to develop him. And Kyle, at the end of the day, chose supposedly Trey Lance, and now you're not developing him. And like, I mean, the QB runs, I really didn't like him because I mean, like Korean 49er said before, like, why are you using him like the Panthers used the young Cam Newton? Why are you using him like RG3? Like, Kyle, you were the offensive coordinator in Washington. You knew what happened to RG3. You were the offensive coordinator. Like, why do you want the same thing to happen to Lance? And one thing that Lance has is that he has a cannon for an arm. He can throw the football. Like some people do say Lamar Jackson can't throw, which I disagree with. But like Lance he's the total package. He can throw, he can run, he can do pretty much everything. Now, there are some things that he has to work on mechanically and accuracy. I think he needs to work on. But Lance is the total package. He has a lot of strengths to him, and you're using him like he's a running back. He had more carries than Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon combined.
It's crazy, right? Like, it's absolutely crazy. You ran quarterback power 3 times in one drive. I think it was like the second drive of the game. You're telling me that you were designing plays for him in March on an airplane, but you running quarterback power 3 times on the second drive of the game? I'm not going. Again, what they say and what they do are 2 different things. And I'm a big person in saying you never separate what you say from what you do. You're a man of your word. It's the one thing that you have in life. And these guys consistently are saying one thing and doing something completely different.
Yep. And I mean, Grant posted a tweet on Twitter, something like that. And I said, don't use Lance like a running back. And people are like, that's his college film. I'm like, that's at the FCS level, right? When you do it at the FCS level, it was working for them. And it made sense to do it at the FCS level. Doing it against the Cardinals that have such a ferocious pass rush with Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt, like, either side you run that QB draw, there's 2 ferocious defensive ends. Makes 0 sense to me to use him like a running back. Like, at the FCS level, it's fine, and it was working for them, but why do it for his first start? It was pretty much the same exact Jimmy offense, but they just added QB draws. Like, you really didn't change much to help and work around Trey Lance's strength. It was pretty much the same exact Jimmy Garoppolo offense, but you just added QB sneaks, and you're like, we're going to work around Trey Lance's strengths. No, you didn't. If that's what you call working around Trey Lance's strengths, then you're not going to develop Trey Lance. If you think that's helping Trey Lance and developing him and utilizing his strengths to his full potential, like, that really isn't.
Well, the other thing too, and I sold people on this during the whole offseason, was that Trey Lance was perfect because the 49ers and Shanahan love to operate under center. And Trey Lance is the only quarterback that really did that in college. Yet he gets into the game and 98% of it, he's in shotgun and pistol. What am I watching? Like, what is actually going on?
And like, Lance had a knee sprain. Like, the way that he was playing physical because he's a rookie. He's obviously trying to impress the coaches, but like, he's gonna get hurt if you keep doing the same thing that you're doing. Lance is gonna end up like RG3. He's gonna end up like those quarterbacks that had potential in the league, but for some injury reasons, kind of like Derrick Rose in the NBA, where Derrick Rose, he had potential, but then injuries after injuries. I mean, obviously it's a little bit different, but like, he has potential. He does. And if you're not developing him properly and you're using him like a running back, he's going to get hurt. He just is.
Listen, we've had Jeff Wilson Jr., Mostert, Mitchell, Sermon, Hasty. 5 running backs go down with injury this year. Yet you're using your franchise quarterback just like you're using those running backs, and you expect him to stay healthy?
Yep.
It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, period.
Yep, and like, Jimmy got hurt without running that many times. Like how they use Lance with running the QB draws. Jimmy doesn't run the QB draw. Jimmy got hurt without running, without, extending plays like Lance did. Lance got, like, I don't get why you didn't use Lance more precautiously, right? Because you basically, like I said, you use him like a running back, where you don't use Jimmy like a running back, and Jimmy gets hurt. And you decide, I don't know, in your right mind, you decide to use Lance like a running back when you don't use Jimmy like a running back, and he gets hurt constantly. He gets hurt constantly, and you don't use him like a running back. And then you thought, hey, let me use Lance like a running back, and then I don't think he's going to get hurt. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and bot 2403 says it. Jimmy got kneed. It was a knee to the calf. Like, he wasn't even sacked or anything like that. It was just a simple knee to the calf. And I'm not saying it can't be painful. I mean, I've had some bone bruising from a knee to the thigh. It was one of the most painful things I've ever gone through. So I'm not saying that, but it's just something. It's always something, right? It's always something. And I don't know about you, but did you see Jimmy warming up pregame? Because he looked pretty dang okay to me.
Yeah,
Like,
he
he
looked
had the
fine. I
bands
don't
around
get
his
why.
legs. He was moving fine. He was doing
Yeah.
the hip thing. Like, nah, he looked fine to me. I don't know. That whole thing's fishy, but whatever. I'm not saying that it's not an injury. I'm just saying it looks strange.
Yep, and I mean, I saw you post on Twitter, like, it's not the same thing when Lance makes those mistakes and then when Jimmy makes those mistakes.
No.
It's totally not different. It's totally different. Like, I don't, it's completely different because Lance is a rookie. He's 20 years old. Kyle Shanahan, legit Jimmy Garoppolo said this year, Kyle Shanahan's system is hard to grasp. So, like, Jimmy Garoppolo, when he throws the interception or he, misses throws, he's been in the league for like 8 years, I think. Lance is a rookie. He's 20 years old. When he makes a mistake, it's understandable. He's only going to get better by playing. Where if Jimmy makes a mistake, you're like, you've been in the league for a long time. You're what we call an NFL veteran. You shouldn't be making rookie mistakes.
I agree with you. I want to address this real quick. Tinker says Greg Roman does this with Lamar all the time because they win. It's all good, right? Not really. The difference is that Lamar Jackson protects himself a lot better. Like, we saw it. Trey Lance does not know how to slide. He goes head first, and he's seeking out contact. Like, I'm going to give you a good example. And this, I mean, I love it, right, as watching these guys be football players, but I hated it at the same time. There was a play where Debo was running up the sideline last week, easily was not going to gain any more yards. He starts high-stepping, and then instead of just walking out of bounds, he lays a shot on the DB that's right there, just hits him for no reason. And you're like, okay, like, you're a football player. I love that. But at the same time, this is why you're constantly injured.
Yeah.
And Trey Lance does not have that innate ability. You look at the Wilsons, you look at the Kyler Murrays, you look at the Lamars. They are all utilized and running a ton, but all of those guys have proven that they know how to protect themselves. Trey will get there, right? Like, I have no doubt that if they spend the not the offseason, but just tell them, hey, when you come back, you need to know how to slide. Work with this San Francisco Giants third base coach or whatever. We'll help you figure it out. Then it would be different. Then you can run them like crazy, right? But also you have to understand that he's running a lot of QB powers, which means he's running between the guards a lot. Most of these other quarterbacks are running between the guard and the tackle or outside the tackle. It's a very different ball game out there. So that's the differences that I see with it. I mean, it's a good call out. It's just a different scenario.
And plus, with like Lamar and Kyler, they're faster. They're more elusive than Lance. We know Lance is a physical runner. Like, Lamar Jackson isn't lowering his shoulder and trying to chuck a linebacker or trying to chuck someone. Lance is. We saw it when he was in the end zone. He's trying to get into the end zone. He's going head first, trying to score the touchdown. Lamar isn't going to do that. Lamar sees he might run out of bounds or he might, try to dive for the pylon. Lamar isn't going to go head first and try to, hit, helmet to a linebacker. Like, he's not going to do that. Lance is physical. Right. He's a physical runner. So either way, Lamar Jackson and Kyler, they're faster and they're more elusive than Lance is. And Lance, he's not as fast or as thing as Kyler Murray. And we already saw this week that he's a physical runner. So, like, it's not the same thing. It's just not.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, I got to get to Jeremy, but I want to say this. So before you leave, Amin the Dream, go subscribe to his YouTube channel. What are you at right now, Amin?
504.
504. Okay. So let's help him get to 600 if we can. Amin's a bright young mind, young kid, 13, 14 years old. But as you just heard, he knows what the hell he's talking about. He's amazing. So if you're not subscribed to him, please make sure you do so. Show him some love. And I promise you will not be disappointed. The kid knows what he's talking about. Amin, you have a good night. Thank you for kicking off the first 49er show on the new channel the right way. I
Glad
appreciate
you're
you.
back. Glad you're back,
Thank
man.
you, man. Thank you.
I still miss those Tuesdays and Thursdays, with the squad. But Saturdays will do.
Yeah, listen, we'll be back tomorrow. It's Saturday. We'll be back tomorrow, us four. So we'll see you there.
All right, man. Can't wait.
All right, man. Later. All right, we're gonna get to Jeremy. Then we're probably gonna close this baby out. Some final thoughts after that. Jeremy, listen, nobody else can see it, but I can see it. Everybody that knows Jeremy, the bike is there. The bike is there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I would say I got a bone to pick with you, but nah. And good and damn well, I'm not gonna be sitting here agreeing with all the shade towards Big Jimmy.
No.
Big Jimmy.
No, that's fine. But you know what, Jeremy, the shade tonight has all been towards Kyle. What are your thoughts about that?
We talked about this. What was it, 5 or 6 months ago? And I told you and Grant, when it come time, y'all better go after him. Because I may not know the X's and O's like you. I don't study the X's and O's. But when it comes to leadership and when it comes to being decisive, when it comes to real life politics, right? That's up my alley. And I just knew it from I sniffed it out. And I was like, damn, the controversy. This is not Dallas. We don't need controversy. We don't need quarterback. That's how you divide. We've been saying this. This is how you divide. Now, I always go back to when Grant had Jimmy Ward on his show, and Jimmy Ward, in so many words, told you how he really felt about switching to a rookie or bringing in a new quarterback. When you have a quarterback that took you to a Super Bowl, he's like, you remember his words? You're like, Matthew Stafford is good, but Goff took you to a Super Bowl. He said something along those lines, and what I'm saying is, he's telling you how he really feels. And so when you go and you disrespect their leader, their true leader, because I felt like Kyle Shanahan was like Joffrey on Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? Like, damn you, Jimmy. I don't like how everybody wants to follow your lead. I'm the coach. I'm the coach. And everybody's like, no, dude, Jimmy's our guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just, put yourself in Kyle's shoes. It would suck. It's like they don't really respect me as a leader. They respect me as a play designer and a play caller sometimes, but they don't respect me as the leader. Well, majority of them anyways. And you get one of the players that come out and say it. Then you start seeing you heard how Joe Staley came out and did what he did with Kittle in the interview. Mm-hmm. And he's basically saying, like, he took us to the Super Bowl, right? Like, right? Yeah. And he's like, Kittle's like, yeah. They're telling you like, yo, that's our guy. We're not burying him just because, Joe Blow wants us to. Like, that's our guy. We're in the trenches with this guy. And I already knew this. Oh my God, this is what I've been scared of. It's a recipe for disaster. Here comes the downward spiral if we don't clean it up. And it sounds like everybody just wants the new shiny toy, not realizing we gotta protect it 5 years in advance. Let the kid chill. Right now, let Jimmy play. Jimmy's gonna play. You gotta let him play. He's making way too much money. You're gonna go play. You're gonna earn every dollar. And let the kid be developed by someone that actually can. We already saw how Kyle Shanahan treats his quarterbacks. Look at Jimmy. Don't say Jimmy. Well, Jimmy's a vet. I love you, man. You kid genius, truly are. But when you say Jimmy's a vet, I'm saying, time doesn't tell. He hasn't played enough. I was pissed off when they gave him all that damn money. For what? How many games did he play, Jess?
5.
You know what I mean? And you give him all that money, I'm like, oh my God. So now you commit. Now all your eggs is in one basket. Here we are. Don't pull out now when he's got one more year. Finish it off. See it through. we may have to see you too, Kyle. Bring in Mike Tomlin, or I'll take Doug Peterson. You know, I'll take Doug. You guys, I think it was you and Grant that was speaking on this, or it was, I don't know. I like that idea. Doug Peterson, somebody. So let somebody else develop the kid. We don't need another guy ruining the kid because he doesn't know how to keep his emotions or his jealousy. Jimmy's a damn good leader. Did you see that jawline, by the way, Jesse? Jimmy's jaw.
He's just so dang good looking, man. That's what it comes down to.
Sometimes, and you know, some people can't stand that. They're like, just because he's handsome. Like, no, that's not it. But that's a big part of it, you know.
Of course. Well, listen. I mean, when you that is a big part of it. When you bring in somebody who's supposed to be a face of a franchise. If they're good looking, also that helps. It does. It's marketability, you know.
Absolutely, that helps.
This is a bit. At the end of the day, this is a business, and these owners are trying to be profitable as much or more than they're trying to win.
But when you say that, right? When you say that, Kyle Shanahan has been here for how long?
5 years.
So in the same breath as that, if we're going to start pointing fingers, I think it's because you look through history, all the great coaches, they made something out of what they had. And here we're defending a guy for not getting what he wants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we're burying other guys. You know, we're playing right into his scapegoating method. It's like, oh well, it's not me. If I would have had like, to hell with that. Jimmy, I love you, man. Thanks for taking us to the bowl. You got to go. Kyle, it was great. You pulled us out of a slump. You got to go. And I'm not saying like right now, but if you can't fix this year, you got to go. You got to go, man. You got to go. This league is not waiting up on anyone. Look at what the Rams are doing. Look at what Arizona's doing. And I'm not going to say thank God because I don't wish injury on anyone, but Russell Wilson really hurt. Like if there was any time where you can actually make a run for getting back into a good position in the division, now would be that time. Russell is out. Kingsbury's hurt, COVID, right? Here we go. What do? And make it right.
This is your time. This is your coming off a bye week. This is your time to make a move. You've got an easy schedule down the stretch. You have to make it happen. Nobody should expect anything less than 10 wins from this team still. I know it doesn't look good, 2-3, but they have to expect minimum 10 wins.
10 wins.
If they don't get 10 wins, if they still don't get 10 wins, then there's nobody to hold accountable but Kyle Shanahan, period. That's just the way that it works.
Amen. Yes, sir. So what do you want right now? Number one priority. What's your number one priority? Don't just say win.
No, it's not. Winning is not my number one priority. My number one priority 100% is making sure that the future, and the future is Trey Lance, is being developed properly, right? And that's the thing is I can't say that I do. What has he done to show it to me?
What has he done with any of his quarterbacks?
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, okay, so here's the deal, right? Like a lot of players, you can point to a lot of players say they've had their best year under Kyle Shanahan, which, okay, that's great. I'm not going to argue that, but you still can't. Those are guys that were already developed, and he came in and took them to the next level, right? He's really good at that, and I'm not arguing that he's not.
Right.
But who has he taken from scratch and turned him into something? Nobody.
Yeah.
So you can't expect that a Tiger is going to change his stripes. Like, this is who he is at this point, right? I mean, what am I missing? He doesn't know how to use a mobile quarterback. He ruined RG3. He damn near tried to do it again Sunday with Trey. It's like, I want Trey to play really bad, Jeremy. You know that. But if it looks like it did Sunday, I can't. No way. We can't put that kid out there to just be thrown to the wolves that way. That's not going to help this team be good in the long run, which is ultimately the most important thing.
Yep. I agree. I agree with that 100%. I'm ready for the kid to be developed by someone like a Mike Tomlin.
I feel it.
You know,
I feel it.
like he already showed us what his character's like. You lose not one but 2 Super Bowls. Okay, fine, you weren't the head coach in Atlanta, but still, you lose 2 Super Bowls. You would think he would have learned, right? Like, you're up, and everybody knows you for running, right? Like, and you lose the Super. I don't know, dude. I don't think he's gonna change his behavior. And when it comes to quarterbacks, I don't trust him. I don't trust him. I don't think he's not a quarterback whisperer. He doesn't even know how to keep a good employee, man. Be honest with you.
I want to say this, and we'll end it here, Jeremy.
Yep.
I had not only Waruna, who's normally a voice of reason, like when I'm going off the deep end, Waruna comes in and kind of steers me back in the lane and makes me think from a different perspective. But I've got you who does the same thing. Both of you have come in tonight and said Shanahan has to be held accountable. And if he's not the guy, and he's not the guy soon, he's got to be let go. That tells me that if I've got everybody who normally is willing to disagree with me, agree with me, that I'm on the right path.
Yeah, of course.
Because quite frankly, a lot of people are into the groupthink, right? And if everybody's saying it, then I'm going to go with it. But they're not willing to go against the grain in a lot of situations. A couple of you guys are consistently going against the grain and you're okay with it. And I respect that about you. But tonight you have not gone against the grain. And that, like I said, that tells me, listen, like we're all seeing and feeling the same exact things about Kyler.
Absolutely. Because that's who it's been about this entire time. Now we're coming to our senses. Hey, man. Good stuff. I gotta say, I'm sorry. I'm just
you're good.
off
No,
work,
you're good.
Man. Good stuff. Thank you. And just like through the off season, through these first 5 horrible weeks, you carried us again. I'm more excited to come talk to you than watch the damn game, man. Jess,
hey, Jeremy,
thank you so much, brother.
Listen, I appreciate the support like always, brother. You've tapped in since the beginning. You've shown nothing but love. I'm glad that you're able to make it in on the first show on the new channel and kick things off right. I really appreciate you.
Sir.
We'll talk next week.
Yes, sir. And go Niners. We digging for gold, baby.
Yes, sir. Later, man. Later. All right. I'm going to let me kick it over to this real quick. Hold up. All right, y'all. So listen. Hell of a first show back. I cannot thank any of you guys enough. Absolutely killed that show. That was the best call-in show that we have ever done. So to go off of a call-in show that got our previous channel canceled to come into this makes it all worth it. I know it's going to be an uphill battle. I know that getting this channel back is going to be tough. It's going to take some hard work and dedication. Quite frankly, it's going to take all of you guys spreading the word, liking, subscribing. But I know that we're going to get there. It'll take time, but we will definitely get there. I appreciate every one of you. Make sure to subscribe, like. If you are watching on any other platform, come over to YouTube, type in Last Second Sports. We're right there. Just show some love. Once you have done so, make sure you go to the first video on the channel. It is the relaunch video. Comment there saying you have subscribed. That is going to enter you into a drawing to win $100 worth of gear of your choice. November 3rd, we are going to be giving it away. So again, I appreciate the hell out of every one of you. And for those of you that like to see all NFL chatter, tomorrow night I'm back with my guys, my four ride or die guys, Rad, Trey, Jeff, myself. We are talking this week's season. We're going to make this week's games, rather. We're going to make our picks. We're going to talk fantasy football. So tap in tomorrow night. It'll be around 9:30 Eastern. We appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you. Thank you so much for the support. And we couldn't do this thing without you. Love all of you. Have a fantastic night. Peace.